appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $357,000 under Section 7, subsection 1 of Chapter 44 of the general laws, or any other enabling authority, that the mayor is authorized to take any other necessary convenience to carry out this project. Any premium received by the city upon the sale of any bonds or notes approved by this order, less any such premium applied to the payment of the cost of issuance of such bonds or notes, may be applied to the payment of costs by this order in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 20 of the general laws, thereby reducing the amount.
Steve, did you finish? We lost you at the last sentence, I think. Well, I think we'll just go on to, is there anyone here to speak? We lost the last sentence there, Steve, so you froze for a minute. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? I do see there's some additional attendees on the Zoom call, so I know Jeremy and Courtney and Jack, I'm sure, is here to talk about the next item, but I do see three other people that I'm wondering if they are interested in talking on this matter. So, Jim, I don't know if you want to just shoot them a chat and ask them if they're interested. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition? Anyone neither for nor against? Let's just wait one. I got to chat here. We'll just give them a minute.
If anybody would like to speak, there's a button to raise your hand. If you click that button to raise your hand, we'll see that and it'll indicate to us that your intent to speak on this meeting. So.
Todd, is that the chat button?
No, we don't see that option because we're technically panelists within this.
Oh, okay.
All right, I don't see nobody's responding. So the police cars are in Councilor Blair's committee. Councilor Blair, do you see any reason to keep this open?
No, I don't. I think it's pretty well known to all the councilmen. We do this every 3 or 4 years, whatever. Hopefully this is the last time we do this.
Agreed. Thank you. So I will declare that public hearing closed at this time. Mr. Withers, would you read the notice for the next public hearing?
I will try. It's a public hearing relative to the following loan order. Ordered that the loan order of the Municipal Council passed February 18th, 2020, relating to the renovations to the Attleboro Public Library be amended to include elevator improvements so that the loan order as amended provides as follows. Ordered that $6,900,000 is appropriated for the design, permitting, bidding, construction, oversight, and construction costs associated with the roof, HVAC, elevator improvements, window and exterior repairs to the Attleboro Public Library building located at 74 North Main Street, Attleboro, Mass., collectively the project, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $6,900,000 under Section 7, subsection 1 of Chapter 44 of the general laws, or any other enabling authority, that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary or convenient to carry out this project. Any premium received by the city upon the sale of any bonds or notes approved by this order, less any such premium applied to the payment of the cost of issuance of such bonds or notes, may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this order in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 20 of the general laws, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by a like amount.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak in favor?
Jack is on the line.
I know Jack is on. Oh, you're bringing him. Okay, good. So Jack, just for the record, name and address, and then the floor is yours.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can.
Good. Jack Jacoby, 15 Prince Street. I am the chairman of the Municipal Building Commission, and I'm here to speak in favor. Just to give you a little background, a number of weeks ago, Chris Johnson, the library director, informed the Municipal Building Commission that there were some extensive repairs necessary for the elevator at the library, and that the library did not have an appropriate source of funds to accomplish this. Those repairs were estimated to be about $135,000. She asked if we could include that in the project that we have to do other extensive renovations to the library. So the first thing we did was ask the architect and our owner's project manager whether we had funds available in the budget. The answer to that was yes. That was principally because we had included in the budget upgrades to the lighting to LED. That lighting had already been accomplished by the city through another funding source. So therefore, those funds were available to be repurposed. And so the second question was, how would we legally go about this? And the mayor, auditor, and treasurer all said that we needed to amend the bond issue because it was narrowly drawn and did not include elevator repairs. So what I have done is I sent a memo to the council. I hope you've all seen it, that laid all this out. I sent the estimate from the contractor and also sent to you our budget thus far, showing that we've actually put $200,000 as a line item. It's more than we probably need, but we're carrying that as a line item at this point. So what you did last week was that you authorized us to repurpose $27,000, of which we only need about $9 in order to get the design work done. If you were to approve this amendment, then we will be able to accept this when the bids come in. The way we've done this is to allow the architect to go forward and design it so it can be competitively bid. It will be in the bid package that goes out around the 1st of August. We're expecting bids at the end of August. And we will then, assuming this council approves it, be able to accept that. So we put it in as an add alternate, so it would not affect the base bid if you disagree. But we're hoping you agree. It's impossible with the handicap laws to operate the library without a working elevator. The elevator is in serious need of repair. And as you can see by that estimate, and I think as Councilor Conti spoke last week, it's a cab that needs a new motor. So the best way I can put it. So we are asking you if you would amend the bond issue so that we could accept that add alternate and include this in the project.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Jacoby at this time? Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack, for that overview. I know that the Disability Commission does have access to some grants, and I do feel like an elevator would be possibly something that could be researched. Do you know if that was looked into at all?
I know that Chris Johnson told us that she had applied through Dorothy Brissett's office for a $19,000 grant for disability upgrades, and that I believe that's in the budget that you as a council have approved. But there are other things that are needed to be done beyond the elevator. There have been changes in the law since the building was built in 1992. And so there are some issues with handrails. There are some issues with the bathrooms, with the door closings on the bathrooms, with the height of certain of the fixtures in the bathrooms, with some of the distances. So we are planning on doing all of those things as part of this project. It's just that obviously the elevator is important for handicap accessibility, but we wouldn't have to make changes to the elevator if we were not under the gun here with the problems.
Great, thank you. Any additional questions or comments for Mr. Jacoby at this time? All right, seeing none, thank you, Jack. I also see Chris from the library, Charlie Oliver from the Library Board of Trustees, and also Tricia Svensson on the line. I know she said that she was here to, she didn't wish to speak, but she was in support of the library project. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor that wants to address the council at this time in favor? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Is there anyone here to speak neither for nor against? Councillor Conti, do you see any reason to keep this public hearing open?
No, Mr. President, the calendar pages flip fast. I would like to close the public hearing and move on.
Thank you. This public hearing is also closed. That concludes our public hearings for this evening. At this time, we'll go on to the, excuse me, the reading of the mayor's communication. As soon as I find it.
June
Okay,
23rd.
I'm ready.
What's that?
I'm ready.
Okay, June 23rd, 2020. Dear municipal councilors, I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Recreation Dennis Walsh regarding the Community Development Block Grant for fiscal year 2020, fiscal year 2021 for the Youth Center program in the amount of approximately $12,000. In accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to approve the expenditure during the fiscal year 2021 of this Community Development Block Grant, and also approve any future grant amendments. Copies in your packets.
Thank you. Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Council on Aging, Madeline McNeely, regarding the receipt of approximately $12,652 through the Community Development Block Grant for fiscal year 2020. No match is required by the City of Attleboro. In accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to approve the expenditure of such funds by the Council on Aging to fund the Outreach/Shine Counselor. Copies in your packets.
Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from the Director of Council on Aging, Madeline McNeely, regarding the anticipated award of the fiscal year 2021 formula grant of approximately $94,812. In accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to approve the expenditure of such funds by the Council on Aging for expenditure during fiscal year 2021, and also approve any further grant amendments. Copies in your packets. In order for this grant to become effective for July 1st, 2020, to pay associated salary and benefits for fiscal year 2021, I hereby request your honorable body to consider this prior to June 30th, 2020.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director on Council of Aging, Madeline McNeely, regarding the award of the fiscal year 2021 Shine Grant of approximately $94,107. In accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to approve the expenditure of such funds by the Council on Aging for expenditure during fiscal year 2021, and also approve any further grant amendments. Copies in your packets. In order for this grant to become effective for July 1st, 2020, to pay associated salary and benefits for fiscal year 2021, I hereby request your honorable body to consider this prior to June 30th, 2020.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from the Director on Council on Aging, Madeline McNeely, regarding the award of the Community Development Block Grant/CARES Act Fund of approximately $12,018. In accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to approve the expenditure of such funds by the Council on Aging for expenditure during fiscal year 2021, and also approve any further grant amendments. Copies in your packets.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Economic Development Director Catherine Furyk regarding requesting to have fees waived in connection with the recent efforts to expedite outdoor dining expansions for the Attleboro restaurants. Restaurants will still be required to submit applications to the city clerk and Department of Public Works, along with the approval of the Health Department, Fire Department, Building Inspector, and Police Department. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body waive the following fees in regards to the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro until November 1st, 2020, or until such waivers are rescinded by the municipal council. Section 11-15.1, public drinking, an application fee of $75. Section 16-3.2, sidewalk/street occupancy, $150 for occupying a sidewalk/street for a maximum of 3 days. The rate for each additional day will be $20. In accordance with Article 2, Section 2-9B of the City Charter of the City of Attleboro, I respectfully request your honorable body to consider this as an emergency measure. Copies in your packets.
Ordinances, elections, and legislative matters, please.
Sincerely, Paul Haro, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Witters, did we have other communications that I missed?
We did not, Mr. President.
Thank you. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to recess.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Roll call vote is required. We'll begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair. Mr.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Ms. D. Simone.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Vice President Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Blucio.
Yes.
Cobus.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Before I say motion passes, I think Public Works is going to go first because you have a guest. Motion passes. We are recessed to committee meetings.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
And I do have a guest. I'd like to call Public Works Committee to order at 7:21. I have a few items this evening, and my guest tonight is Courtney Wunschel, Superintendent of the Water Department. Courtney, can you hear us? Courtney, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, great. Oh, and your video.
There you are.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It was working a little while ago.
First, before I even begin, Courtney, I just wanted to extend our well wishes to Sonny Almeida. I understand that he has had a heart attack over the weekend.
Oh, I didn't know that yet.
Oh, I learned that. I hope he's doing well. I figured Deneen was out, and if you could just wish them well for us, we would appreciate it.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you very much. I hope I wasn't told the wrong information. I'm surprised you don't know that. But anyways, let's get to the point. So I have a few items this evening. Actually, they're all from the Water Department. But the first one I want to talk about are the 2 trucks that you want to replace. This had come back down to us originally in March. How have you been doing without them?
We've been stuck for vehicles. The superintendent car has actually been used on rounds, and actually it needed some work. It's back on the road now, but that was off. There's a little bit of swapping the vehicles around, dropping people off at certain places, running mail, either Greg or I are doing it in our personal car, that sort of thing. We're making do, but it's certainly not ideal not having those 2 on the road.
Now the F-350, the F-350 pickup that you're replacing.
Yes.
I did have DPW go out and look at it, and they said, yes, it's got a lot of rot on it and it's unrepairable.
Yes.
So who uses that truck, and what exactly are you using it for?
That truck was originally used for the distribution crew years and years and years ago. It ended up in a major accident probably 7 or 8 years ago. My opinion should have been totaled, but the insurance company didn't, so it got fixed back on the road. And at that point, it got handed to maintenance. There was a replacement truck bought for the crew, and that truck was handed to maintenance. And it's since been in another accident within the last maybe 2 years or so. But it is the maintenance truck. They would use it. Again, they do all the grounds if they need to move multiple mowers to the remote sites, the reservoirs, that sort of thing. Right now, they only have one truck to do it. And the other one is the one that the foreman would use to go to the other plants, perform maintenance at Luther, that sort of thing.
Does anyone have any questions about the 350?
No.
President Cooper.
So, Courtney, is that 350 the one that you use to tow the valve turner trailer?
No, it's not. That one is actually still on the road. That's in the capital plan for a future year, but it's not that one.
All right, thanks.
Councilor Conti.
Courtney, can you explain why you need a 350 for this maintenance department rather than a 150?
Sure. This truck is actually, first of all, very close to a direct replacement of the one that's off the road. 350s, again, the last few years, if we can buy a 350 and put a plow on it, we do. And there's a couple reasons for that. If we need it to plow our own grounds, our remote sites, our tank sites, that sort of thing, we can. If DPW is in need of extra plow trucks for a major snow event, we have a bigger truck that we can put on the road for them if they need it. And we've also lent drivers and that sort of thing. So that's the need for the bigger truck.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions about the 350? Councilor Blair.
It's my understanding that 350 with the plow does most of the plowing at the plant and the water towers and whatnot, the satellite. So that 350 is basically used for snow plowing at the plant. Am I correct, Courtney?
Usually, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions about the 350? Okay, let's move on to the 152/250. So Courtney, originally, the request had come in to replace the Ford 150 pickup truck with another 150 pickup truck. You and I had a conversation with regards to why we weren't making it a 250 so that we could add a plow, since if we're going to have trucks in any department, they should be able to carry a plow, period, end of story. But you and I had that conversation, and I understand you had the same conversation with Mayor Hero. So I have also in my committee to rescind for the 150 and the request for the 250. My question to you is, who drives the 150 and what is it used for exactly?
Okay, the truck that this is replacing, if you have the memo in front of you, it's nearing 250,000 miles. It's certainly done. It was currently in operations, and it's a spare. Again, if we have someone out for rounds and another operator needs to leave, we need this other truck. What we're actually going to be doing with the new one is that there is an existing F-150 on the meter crew. It's the meter foreman that's driving it right now. It's also a 2007. It's lower mileage, it's better shape. The plan is to move that up to the operators as the spare truck and move the new 250 down to the meter foreman for his use.
So, again, I just want to let my fellow colleagues know DPW did look at the F-150 and they also deemed it unoperable. So my question to you is, if this is for operations as far as the meter person who's reading it, then instead of going, I know you're going to think I'm absolutely crazy because I was talking about a 250, but since this is for a meter person, why don't we just buy them a little car? They don't need a truck. They can drive a Kia, because you can set it all up, because that's all they're using it for. And that's And I don't, yeah, and it's so much cheaper and there's no reason to add a truck to it, so.
The meter crew, this isn't actually for a reader. If it was a reader, my preference again would be like a smaller van, a Ranger, something smaller, more economical. This is more for the foreman. He does do shut-offs, turn-ons. He needs room for a gate wrench. He is our backup for the cross-connection program, so he needs to be able to fit, test kits. And the equipment for the backflow program. So it does need to be something bigger than a car, certainly. You're not going to fit a 6-foot gate wrench in like the trunk of like the Taurus that I drive, for example.
So we could take, preferably we could take one of your other F-150s and he could just drive that and use it when he's going to use, and the meter person can use the new car, correct? I mean, that's a possibility.
We could.
Thank you. Mr. Blair?
Maybe I can help you out, Courtney. That 150 is driven by Mr. Brazier most of the time, or had been.
The one that's getting retired was.
250,000 miles on. It's probably the most used vehicle you have.
Mm-hmm.
I would have a suggestion, even rather than getting a 150, you get a Ranger, which serves all purposes. It's a truck. You can put a gate wrench in it. It gets almost 3 times the mileage on the road as the 250. A 250 with a plow, if that's going to be loaned out to the highway department, it's not made for road work, for plowing. That's a residential like plow truck for driveways, small parking lot, and whatnot. That Ranger could save you in fuel and maintenance probably half the price of the vehicle over the life of the vehicle. It doesn't seem feasible, and I do know equipment to be using a 250, spending a lot of money on tires. The repairs are more money. The gas mileage is horrendous. It would seem practical to me that a Ranger 4x4 would serve all the purposes you need. It's big enough to tow a trailer with the lawn equipment and whatnot on it. You can put a gate wrench in it. Mr. Brazier can get in and out of it rather than jumping up into a 250. That's where the truck belongs as far as I'm concerned. But I think you ought to look at a Ranger to meet your needs. Thank you.
Any other questions with regards to the 150/250? President Cooper.
Thank you. So I'm just going to make a slightly snarky comment because we just twisted Courtney right around the maypole, right, with what we want her to do. Only because we said come back. We wanted the 250. Now we're back to a Ranger, but I think it makes sense, Courtney, to look at the fleet and see what works best for you. You've convinced me on the reasons for the 350. I'm good with that one, but I'm still not there yet. And maybe Vice President Jackson can get me there on the 150 or the 250. I'm sorry, to replace the 150. If you're going to shuffle vehicles around anyway. That's my only comment.
Right, and again, it was originally proposed as a 150 because that would be the direct replacement. The 250 with the plow was, again, at the request of some councilors and from the mayor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Understood.
Make it more versatile for other departments as well as for water.
Yeah,
So
understood.
So Courtney, you could still get so just say that the council this evening passes the 350. We don't pass the 150, 250, whatever it is, the 250, because we're going to rescind the vote on the 150. Would you be willing to take a look at your fleet and take a, relook at what you can actually use it for and how you could save some money and not, like I said, I don't think you need a truck because you can just switch. You can have whoever's using the truck, use the truck and get a little car, save on all the way around, I think. But would you be in agreement to do something like that? I know that you wouldn't be able to come before us again till the fall.
I would, again, in the meantime, the Taurus has been getting a decent amount of use from everybody but me. I can continue to lend it to take a look.
Great, thank you. Any questions, comments, Councilor Dolan?
What are we looking at for a price difference between the 150 and the 250?
Oh, the 150 I don't have in front of me.
$4,500.
Yep.
Looks like
Yes.
How much?
$4,500. Oh, 40. Oh, I'm sorry, Kate. Go
Yes,
ahead.
that's okay. That's all right. No, it's all right. Yep, it's $41,000. Almost 42.
Right. What's the difference?
I'm doing some quick math. Hold
Oh,
on.
thank you. I don't have a calculator in front of me, Laura.
$4,551.
So, Kate, I'm sorry, Vice President Jackson, explain to me why we would do a car instead, so the person that reads the meters could use the car?
Yep. And if they already have enough trucks, then whoever was going to drive a brand new truck just takes one of the old trucks. And a meter in a car is a lot of times less money than a little truck. But if we could find the comparison between a 150 truck and a little car, a gas efficient all the way around efficiency car, why not just save that way? Also, we're trying to save every dollar we can, right? President Cooper?
Just a question to Courtney, if I may. Courtney, the last little eco van that you bought, do you remember what that cost? The little one. Don't you have a
No, that was Wastewater.
you don't? Okay, thanks. Because I thought they ran about the same price as the 150, if my memory served me right. But
I think they do. There's one in my CIP right now, and I don't remember off the top of my head. I know they run closer to the same price as the Rangers and cars more than they do towards trucks when you're getting like the smaller.
okay,
vans.
thank you.
Mhm.
Councilor Blair?
Just throw this out, a Ranger, get out on a Ranger is about $28,000
Good to know.
compared to 42, 45. And like I said, Kate, then Courtney, the fuel efficiency is 3 times
Mhm.
what a 250 would be, even a 150. They won't even give you a mileage on a 250. Ford won't even give you a mileage estimate. So like I said, I honestly believe that if Courtney would look at a Ranger, get a bid on a Ranger and whatnot, I think she's going to find it around 28,000. And if you compare the nuts and bolts and what it can do, meet multiple tasks for a lot less money, you're probably talking $13,000, $14,000 to start with. And over the life of that Ranger, you're going to save another $14,000, $15,000 in fuel alone. And the repairs are going to be tremendously less. So I would hope that Courtney, or you would ask Courtney to look into that Ranger and see if it fits into her needs, all around needs. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments? No. Courtney, thanks. I'm just going to read the other motions that are before us with regards to the Wading River pump and things. So if anybody has any questions, if you wouldn't mind staying on.
Sure.
Great. Thank you very much. Does anybody else have any questions with regards to the trucks? So from the docket of July 21st, 2020, I entertain a motion to transfer $14,846 from account 6100-578300 Water Enterprise Fund Reserve Fund for transfer to account 6100-553-181, Water Enterprise Fund Treatment Plant Supplies, for funds to purchase a replacement pump, motor, and check valve for the east well at the Wading River plant.
Second.
Thank you very much. So this came out just last week. And my understanding from the backup is that during the redevelopment of the east well in May, the east pump motor and check valve showed signs of severe pitting and all are in need of replacement. They received 3 quotes for the replacement, and this quote that they have now includes the shipping. And my question, Courtney, who installs it? Does the company install it or do your people install it?
Yes, it's actually the first quote that's on there. I believe I attached them. Dennis Moore. Every year we have one of the wells redeveloped. So this year it was the east. Dennis Moore is the company that's doing it. They inspect the pump, they inspect the motor. They initially submitted this as a change order. And you know, the well redevelopment's only about $13,000. So obviously not a change order. Their typical operation is to bring the pump off site anyway. So they do have the old one. They would have to return to reinstall it even if the other one was in good shape. So it's part of their original scope to go and put the new one back in.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Any comments? No? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. From the docket of July 21st, 2020, I entertain a motion to transfer $8,399 from account 6100-578300, Water Enterprise Fund Reserve Fund for transfer to account 6100-558205, Water Enterprise Fund Safety Equipment for fund the chain hoist at the Wading River Pump Building, which through recent inspection showed deficiencies in both the bridge beam carrier wheels and the travel mechanisms.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments? Courtney, do you want to tell us a little bit about this one also, please?
Sure. The memo actually says that the chain hoist was installed prior to the upgrade in the 90s.
Yeah, I noticed that.
The best guess is actually that it's most likely original to the plant from the 1920s. So it's been there, it's done its work. The hoist, if we have to perform any work, replacements on the high lift pumps in the pump building, this is actually necessary for the pump removal and reinstallation. So we're basically stuck on no pump maintenance without this, and we can't use it the way that it is. And again, it's best guess pushing 100 years. So I think it's paid its dues.
So do you have, first of all, have you been into the building inspection office at all since they redid it?
Mm-mm.
So they've been collecting like old pieces that have to do with any type of building, and it's phenomenal. You got to go in and see what they did. So can you keep something like that? Do you have a showcase down at the water department where you could showcase all old things, especially something that like an antique like that?
Actually, we do. It's a big piece of equipment. We could keep parts of it. If
Cool.
the next time you come on a tour, we actually have up the filter deck hallway. We have the museum, and it's old meters, old lab equipment, old wrenches, and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's really interesting to keep these things.
Cool. Any questions? Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. From the docket of April 21st, 2020, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to strike the following item from the docket of March 17th, 2020, to appropriate $37,326 from account 6100-359000 Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings to account 6100-587044 Water Enterprise Fund replacement truck for a new Ford 150 pickup.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. From the docket of April 21st, 2020, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor, excuse me, to $1,877 from account 6100-359000, Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings, to account 6100-587044, Water Enterprise Fund replacement truck to replace 2007 Ford 150, which no longer runs.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. President.
So this 41,000 is to buy the 250, is that right?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Oh, excuse me. President Cooper, were you saying something else?
No.
Okay, thank you. Council Blair.
Kate, am I mistaken? I thought you would ask Courtney to hold off on that particular truck.
Right, but I still have to vote this out of committee, and I'll still have to vote this on the floor, and she can come back to us in the fall with some new quotes.
So you're not going to, excuse me, when you bring it out, you're not going to be in favor of that truck?
Correct.
Okay. Did you bring that 350 out while I got?
Nope, not yet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we discussed it. We already discussed it,
Okay.
but we haven't voted it yet.
Oh, okay.
Any other comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Thank you. From the docket of March 17th, 2020, I entertain a motion to appropriate $51,494 from account 6100-359000, Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings, to account 6100-587044, Water Enterprise Fund replacement truck for a new Ford F-350 pickup.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. That concludes the business this evening for the Public Works Committee. I'd like to ask for an adjournment at 7:45.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 7:45. Thank you. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You as
Thank
well.
you.
So Richard, are you up next?
I am, and I'd like to call the Capital Improvements and City Development Committee to order at 7:46. Sitting on this committee is Councilor Dolan and Councilor Waterman. And I just have one motion for you this evening. From the docket of June 16, 2020, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to approve the following amended loan order. Ordered that the loan order of the municipal council passed February 18, 2020 relating to the renovations of the Attleboro Public Library be amended to include elevator improvements so that the loan order is amended provides as follows. Ordered that $6,900,000 is appropriated for the design, permitting, bidding, construction, oversight, and construction costs associated with the roof, HVAC elevator improvements, window and exterior repairs to the Attleboro Public Library building, located at 74 North Main Street, Attleboro, Massachusetts, collectively referred to as the project, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto. That to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $6,900,000 under Section 7, Paragraph 1 of Chapter 44 of the General Laws, or any other enabling authority, that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary or convenient to carry out this project. Any premium received by the city upon the sale of the bonds or notes approved by this order, less any premium applied to the payment of the cost of issuance of such bonds or notes, may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this order in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 20 of the General Laws, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by a like amount.
A second.
Thank you, Councilor Waterman. So we just heard from Jack Jacoby during a public hearing. A complete explanation of what's going on, and the numbers looking good. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. I lied, I do have another motion. I entertain a motion to strike from the docket of March 17, 2020, the following. The request of the mayor to appropriate $180,000 from account 1000-359-000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to fund 3428 elementary school parking lots to repair and replace the parking lots at Hyman Fine Elementary, Hill Roberts Elementary School, the Ring Road, and Hyman Fine Elementary School, and the construction of an upper parking lot at Thatcher Elementary School.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Waterman. So in the last city committee meeting, we voted this down, and now we need to vote to strike it from the docket. Are there any comments or questions?
No, none.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously. That completes the business that the Capital Improvements and City Development Committee has to bring before you this evening. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I declare the Capital Improvement City Development Committee adjourned at 7:50 p.m. Thank you.
I would like to call the Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee to order at, I don't know, 7:49 it says. Okay. I would like to entertain a motion to confirm the appointment of Judith Lusk from 17 Blackbourne Road in Attleboro to fill an unexpired term on the Board of Library Trustees, term to expire February 2022. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. I have spoken to Judy. We determined that tonight was probably not the best night for her to come, but I still wanted to bring this out, and she will be glad to come at a future meeting, hopefully not too far into the future. But what I wanted to do, see, I had it out here. Oh yeah, I wanted to read her letter. I thought it was an extraordinary letter, which I don't normally do this, but this one I think is special to me. So she wrote on June 11th, she made the request to Mayor Paul Heroux. I've been asked to be a member of the Board of Trustees for the Attleboro Public Library. I would like to request your nomination for this position. As a current employee of 24 years in the Attleboro School Department at Hyman Fine School, this position is a perfect opportunity for me as I begin my retirement on June 30th. In addition to my years as an educator, I've lived in Attleboro for 34 years. Probably not surprising, books, reading, and public facilities like the Attleboro Public Library are my passions. I am well read in children's literatures. I have had the opportunity to work with the Unlikely Story bookstore in Plainville, and have award-winning authors visit our school. As I move away from teaching in the public schools, serving on the Board of Trustees in our library seems like a natural transition. I have been a board member on the Rachel Brannigan Education Foundation since it was established in 2004. Rachel was a student in my class who lost her battle with cancer at age 8. Our foundation is awarded a $4,000 scholarship every year to an Attleboro High School recipient since 2014, which would have been the year of her graduation. I mention this to establish my level of commitment, and thank you for your consideration, Judith Lusk. Are there any questions or anything to discuss before I ask us if we would like to vote? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the vote passes 3-0. And that will conclude the meeting of the Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee for this evening. And I would like to call for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 7:52. Thank you.
I'd like to call Budget and Appropriations Order 753. See, I respectfully submit, I'm just going to read this right from the communication. Bear with me, folks. I respectfully submit a communication from Building Commissioner Will McDonough regarding the need to increase the expenditure limits in revolving fund 2603 protective inspection services to $250,000 prior to the end of fiscal 2020. Both the change in which the electrical inspector is paid and the incredible increase in permit applications. This increase is needed to allow the payments for the inspections of fiscal 2020. Therefore, I entertain a motion to increase the expenditure limit in the revolving fund 2603 protective services to $250,000.
Second.
Thank you, Todd. I think this one is pretty self-explanatory. We've been discussing this at budget meetings, knowing that this was coming on. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. In a communication from Director of Council on Aging, Madeline Neely, regarding the anticipated award of the fiscal 21 formula grant of approximately $94,812 in accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I entertain a motion to approve the expenditure of such funds by the Council on Aging for expenditure during the fiscal 2021 and also approve any further grant amendments.
Second.
Thank you, Todd. This just came down tonight in the communication. Give me 1 minute. And the formula grant provides funding to the Council on Aging for clerical support, staff, fitness instructors, guest speakers, our annual volunteer recognition, and support, sorted supplies and expenses. Since the award amount is subject to change throughout the fiscal year, Madeline's also seeking approval to expend future amendments during fiscal 2021. Any questions, concerns, thoughts? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. A communication from Director of Council on Aging, Madeline McNeely, regarding an award of the fiscal 2021 Shine Grant of approximately $94,107 in accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro. I hereby entertain a motion to expend the funds by the council, such funds by the Council on Aging for an expenditure during fiscal 2021 and also approve any further grant amendments. Can I get a second?
Second. Sorry.
No worries. Thank you. Excuse me. So the Attleboro Council on Aging is the regional host agency that provides health benefit counseling for Bristol County. Funding the Shine Grant provides salaries, health and dental insurance, Medicare tax for the regional Shine director. It also provides funding for counselor training, health benefits, university supplies. Just as the previous grant, since the award amount is subject to change throughout the fiscal year, Madeline is also seeking approval to expend future amendments during fiscal 21. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I respectfully submit a communication from the Director of Council on Aging, Madeline McNeely, regarding the award of the Community Development Block Grant CARES Act Fund of approximately $12,018 in accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro. I hereby entertain a motion to expend such funds by the Council on Aging for expenditure during fiscal 21 and expend any further grant amendments.
Second.
Thank you, Todd. So the Community Development Block Grant CARES Act provides funding for part-time outreach cell phone reassurance position. This position is funded through the fiscal 20 to the final fiscal year 2020 for funding related to CARES Act in the amount of $12,018. Outreach telephone reassurance is daily and or weekly telephone call to homebound, isolated, frail elders to provide support and information to elders regarding timely, factual information about the array of benefits of which they are eligible through COVID-19 relief programs. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Councilor Cobus.
I would, earlier today, was speaking back and forth with Madeline, and I would just like to applaud her work in applying for all of these grants and securing this money, as well as sort of her forward thinking. I know she's moved some people around in anticipation of losing some potential state funding for the formula grant. She's moved some people over to the CDBG grant to just sort of try to anticipate what's going to be happening on the state level. And I just really want to applaud the work she's doing with these grants and to sort of maintain the services at the Council on Aging and reaching out to the senior citizens right now in this time where that outreach is so important.
Todd, I echo your sentiments. I also had a chance to speak with Madeline this evening. These grants are so crucial to the ability for Madeline to run her department, to be able to take care of some of the most in-need people that we have in our city. And I think the outreach director and any outreach personnel is critical to help the seniors who need it most, especially during this time. So I know there was some discussion about potentially cutting from the Council of Aging, which, you know, especially with how much they how much they depend on these grants. I really hope that later on this evening we don't have to entertain a conversation like that, because Madeline does a great job with the limited resources she has. She relies so much on these grants. Every year we talk about the Shine grants. Every time we talk about CDBG, we talk about formula grants. You know, it's a shame that she has to rely so heavily on these grants to provide the level of services that she does. But Todd, to your point, she does an amazing, amazing job. People don't realize the effort that she puts into writing these grants. So I say kudos to Madeline and thank you for your sentiments. Any other, Councilor Conti?
So I'm pleased that Madeline continues to have the regional coordinators here in Attleboro, making it easier for our senior population to deal with them, because we don't know who in Bristol County would pick it up if Madeline had to give it up. Our seniors might have to go all the way to Fall River, New Bedford, Taunton. It would be a big inconvenience. So kudos for keeping the Bristol County program here in the city of Attleboro. This has my full support, and that concludes my comments.
I appreciate your comments, Councilor. Any other questions or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Aye. Sorry.
That is all the business I have for budget and appropriations, and we'll call for an adjournment at 8:02 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Zoning and land use is canceled for tonight.
Now my space bar is not working. Licenses committee is canceled for tonight.
I'd like to call to order the City Property and Claims Committee at 8:02. And I have several motions this evening. From the docket of July 21st, 2020, I move to approve the following DPW vehicle as surplus and available for disposition. It's a 1998 Ford F800. The VIN number is 1FDYF80E4WVA19153, and the condition is inoperable.
Second.
Thank you. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Any questions, concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And I am an aye. Where's Pete? All those in favor? That motion passes. From the docket of July 21st, 2020, I move to approve the 60-month lease purchase agreement with Ford Motor Credit Company, LLC, for 8 2020 Toyota Sienna vans for the APS Transportation Department, totaling approximately $232,425. This number represents a $24,210 reduction over the current lease.
Second.
Thank you. Again, this is something that we have to do on and off. I think it's reasonable, and we have to consider this. There's children involved, and I have no further comments about it. Anyone else have any questions or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And I'm an aye. That motion passes. I don't know where you are, Mr. Blair. From the docket of July 21st, 2020, I move to approve for following APS vans as surplus and available for trade-in as a condition of the new van lease. A fleet of 2015 Toyota Sienna minivans with the following VIN numbers. They all start with FTDZKDC, and then I'll read the last numbers. They're all different. The first one is 5FS630173. The second van is 1FS631224. The third van is 5FS632151. The fourth one is 5FS630612. The fifth one is 2FS650929. The seventh one is XFS651908. Number 8 is 3FS651295. And the last van is 0F631621. And I have no questions or concerns myself. Does anyone, second, thank you, Ms. Council Holmes. Any other questions or concerns? Councilor Cooper.
So I don't know if I didn't hear you say this vote will be effective June 29th to fulfill the 20-day response period.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, that's, I wrote over.
So you could take that as a friendly amendment if you like, but that has to be in there only because we need to wait that period of time.
Would you like me to read it again, or just as a friendly amendment? Say now, this vote of what I just read will be effective June 29th, 2020 to fulfill the 20-day response period. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And any questions or concerns? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that motion is approved. And that is all the City Property and Claims Committee has this evening. And I would like to call for an adjournment at 8:07.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 8:07.
Thank you. Ordinance, Election, and Legislative Matters Committee is canceled this evening, but I have an emergency preamble for full council.
Right.
Yep, that's right. We'll do that in short order, I hope. Anybody else?
President Cooper, I would just ask to cancel transportation and traffic for this evening, please.
Thank you. Public safety canceled this evening. Did you already say that, Peter?
Yeah. Public safety is canceled.
Okay. Mr. Withers, are we ready to resume?
I am ready to resume.
All right. I'd like to call the
President Cooper.
special meeting of this special meeting of the Municipal Council back to order at 8:07. At this time, we start with committee reports, and we'll begin with Councilor Blair.
I have no business to bring forth this evening, Mr. Cooper. I believe you mentioned earlier about the police cruisers, but that is in Jay's committee.
I did, and I meant to clarify that is in Councilor Delicio's committee, but I think if he had a problem with me closing it, he would have said, wait. Thank you. Moving right along, Councilor Simone.
President Cooper, thank you. Transportation and traffic has nothing to report for this evening. I anticipate that the Traffic Study Commission will be meeting again shortly, but I did want to, on the record, acknowledge and give kudos to the DPW and Mike Tyler for some really quick work on Bishop Street, where there's been 2 recent accidents. They put in some sharp curve signs, so it may not solve the problem, but it should help, and I just want to acknowledge their hard work. I think they did it the day or 2 days after the last accident, so thank you.
And Councilor Conti.
Thank you, Mr. President. Reporting for Capital Improvements and City Development Committee, we have one motion to bring before the full council this evening. From the docket of June 16, 2020, I move to approve the request of the mayor to approve the following amended loan order. Ordered that the loan order of the Municipal Council passed February 18, 2020, relating to the renovations of the Attleboro Public Library be amended to include elevator improvements, so that the loan order as amended provides as follows. Ordered that $6,900,000 is appropriated for design, permitting, building, construction, oversight, and construction costs associated with the roof, HVAC, elevator improvements, window and exterior repairs to the Attleboro Public Library building located at 74 North Main Street, Attleboro, Mass, collectively referred to as the project, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $6,900,000 under Section 7, Paragraph 1 of Chapter 44 of the General Laws, or any other enabling authority, that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary or convenient to carry out this project. Any premium received by the city upon the sale of any such bonds or notes approved by this order, less any such premiums applied to the payment of the costs of issuance of such bonds or notes, may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this order in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 20 of the General Laws, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by a like amount.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional questions or comments?
Mr. President, I have nothing to add to this. We've discussed this during the committee this week, last week, the week before. Documents have been fully circulated. I think we're well covered.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds. Ms. Reynolds? Am I gone again?
No, you're okay, Steve. Sarah's gone.
Yes.
All right, good.
There we go.
Ms. Dolan? Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Mr. Blucio?
Yes.
Vice President Jackson?
Yes.
The Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Simone?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Cooper?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes the business that the Capital Improvements and City Development Committee has to bring before the council this evening. We look forward to a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Waterman.
Yes, I thought I had my page in here. Could we move to the next committee and I will find what I am missing?
Yes, I can. Councilor Jackson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to, Richard, didn't you have 2 motions you read this evening?
You know what?
Rules?
He did.
He did.
Yeah,
To strike the 180,000, Rick.
yeah.
It's not on your motions before the full council, but we got to vote that too.
Just read it from your committee meeting, your committee minutes.
You're muted, Rick.
Sorry.
No worries.
The Capital Improvement and City Development Committee appreciates the welcome back. And I would like to entertain a motion to strike from the docket of March 17, 2020, the following. The request of the mayor to appropriate $180,000 from the undesignated fund balance free cash general government to fund 3428 elementary school parking lots to repair and place the parking lots at Hyman Fine Elementary, Hill Roberts Elementary School, the Ring Road at Hyman Fine Elementary School, and the construction of an upper parking lot at Thatcher Elementary School.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional questions or comments?
I have none. The committee voted this out of committee, did not present it to the council, and it needs to be stricken from the docket.
Thank you, sir. A roll call vote is required, and we'll begin with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. D. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Once again, that concludes the business that the Capital Improvement City Development Committee has to bring to view of the order. Thank you, Councilor Jackson.
No worries.
Well, it's a little confusing tonight, and I appreciate the assistance. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, now back to Vice President Jackson.
Thank you, President Cooper. Reporting for the Public Works Committee. From the docket of July 21st, 2020, I move to transfer $14,846 from the Water Enterprise Fund Reserve Fund for transfer to the Water Enterprise Fund Treatment Plant Supplies account for funds to purchase a replacement pump, motor, and check valve for the east well at the Wading River plant.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional questions or comments?
Nope. Actually, Superintendent Munchell was here for all of these motions this evening, answered any questions anyone might have had.
Excellent. Roll call vote will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. D. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of July 21st, 2020, I move to transfer $8,399 from the Water Enterprise Fund Reserve Fund for transfer account to the Water Enterprise Fund Safety Equipment account for funds to purchase a chain hoist Wading River Pump Building, which through recent inspection showed deficiencies in both the bridge beam carrier wheels and travel mechanism.
Second.
Thank you very much. Again, ditto to exactly what I just said.
Right. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. D. Simone,
Yes.
Conti.
That's a yes.
Okay, sorry, Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of April 21st, 2020, I move to approve the request of the mayor to strike the following item from the docket of March 17th, 2020, to appropriate $37,326 from the Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings account to the Water Enterprise Fund replacement truck account, Ford F-150 pickup.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments, Vice President Jackson?
I do not.
Thank you. Any from the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
No.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
10 yeas, 1 nay.
motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of April 21st, 2020. Oh, no, this failed in committee. I'm not going to read this one.
No, that passed in committee, didn't it?
No, it was 2 nays. 2 nays and 1 yay. It's the
I
three.
thought it was the other. I thought it was the other way around with
No,
Jackson.
the 350 passed.
So can you just clarify for me
So-
who voted?
Okay. The 150, this one to appropriate the 41,877,000.
Mhm.
Kathleen and I both said nay. And that's to do the 250.
Okay, so hold on for
That
1
one
second.
is- Yep.
You said no?
I think so. I might be confused, I have to confess. I mean, I actually thought I said yes, but that I heard a nay. So I don't.
Let me just see what I wrote down, Kate. Yeah, I wrote pass 2 yay, 1 nay, Jackson.
Okay. I'm sorry. I did think Councilor DeSimone said no, nay.
My apologies.
I think the outcome will be the same, Kate.
Yes. So I will read this motion then. Thank you very much. Sorry for all that. It is confusing because the first
Sorry.
strike the 150 and then this one doesn't even say anything in the motion itself. It does not even mention the 250.
Right.
Right. So that's where all the confusion lies. All right. So from the docket of April 21st, 2020, I move to approve the request of the mayor to appropriate $41,877 from Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings account to the Water Enterprise Fund replacement truck account to replace a 2007 Ford F-150, which no longer runs.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments or
Well-
questions?
I will not be supporting this motion because like I had asked Courtney earlier, if she would please revisit this particular truck that this is replacing, the F-150, and look into what Councilor Blair had suggested and also what I had suggested. And as Council Cooper had suggested, let's take a look at the whole fleet, revisit your fleet. So she won't be able to bring this in again until the fall. And right now they've been running okay for the last 5 months, managing everything. So I am okay with not supporting this.
Any additional, Council Conti?
Mr. President, if you recall, not too long ago, we had a very similar conversation with the DPW department head, asking him to come up with a plan, and that's behind, I think, what I'm hearing tonight. I don't favor the purchase of 250 F-250 trucks because I've learned from Councilor Blair that they get beat up and killed, and that so I would hope that the water superintendent would think of either a 350 to replace the 150 or a 150, which would not carry a plow. The mileage between the
Can you
Ranger,
hear
I
me?
looked it up online while we were having our
Can
meeting, and
anyone
the
hear me?
mileage is
Yes, we can, Steve.
the mileage is not that different between them. The better issue is for the superintendent to review what the usual use of these vehicles is, and to come up with a plan like we've asked the DPW chief to have a vehicle replacement program. And that concludes my comments. I will not be supporting this measure.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote is required, and we'll begin with Councilor Blair, and I think I'm doing the roll call vote because I don't see Mr. Withers.
President Cooper, I believe Councilor Holmes had her hand up.
Oh, she did? I'm sorry. Councilor Holmes did.
Thank you. I just want to echo what Councilor Conti said. I feel like when we went to DPW, we're asking for the department heads to kind of explain to us a little bit more of what vehicles they're needing to be replaced. We want to kind of see what is coming off the books and then what they need to be added on. So we are asking for a little bit of an additional step here. And so I agree that I'm not going to be supporting this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Councilor Blair. Councilor Blair.
This is on a 250, correct?
This is on the 250. To strike the 250. A yes vote is you want to buy the 250, a no vote is you don't want to buy the 250.
No.
Councilor Simone.
No.
Councilor Conti.
No.
Councilor Waterman.
No.
Vice President Jackson.
No.
Councilor Blucio.
No.
Councilor Cobus.
No.
Councilor Dolan.
No.
Councilor Reynolds.
No.
Councilor Holmes.
No.
And me, no. 11, 0 yeas, 11 nays. Motion fails.
Thank you. From the docket of March 17th, 2020, I move to appropriate $51,494 from the Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings account to the Water Enterprise Fund replacement truck account for a new Ford F-350 pickup.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional questions or comments?
None for me.
Thank you.
President Cooper, there are a couple.
Yeah, I see him. I'm just trying to be clerk and president at the same time. So you're going to have to slow your roll just a smidge. So the first one I saw was Councilor Conti.
So, Mr. President, I'm going to support this measure because I don't want to strip the water department of all of its capabilities. And to the lead time on a 350, I'm sure, is several months. And maybe she'll have it in time for snow. The snow issue is one that we just can't predict, and we have to be prepared for the worst. And so for that reason, I think putting the 350 with a plow in the water department to be able to move their snow around is a wise move. And when Courtney develops a vehicle replacement plan, this one here will be at the top of the list. It won't need to be replaced for quite a while. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? I don't see any. The roll call vote is required and will begin with Councilor Holmes. Councilor Holmes.
Yes.
Councilor Reynolds.
No.
Councilor Dolan.
Yes.
Councilor Cobus.
No.
Councilor Blucio.
Yes.
Vice President Jackson.
Yes.
Councilor Waterman.
Yes.
Councilor Conti.
Yes.
Councilor Simone.
Yes.
Councilor Blair.
Yes.
And myself, yes. It's 1, 2,
9-2.
9 yeas, 2 nays. Motion passes.
Can you hear me now, President Cooper?
I can.
I don't know what happened, but I'm back, so
All right.
I got the vote, so I could hear
Okay.
you, couldn't hear me.
That concludes the business for the Public Works Committee this evening. And I would like to call for a committee meeting at the appropriate time next month, unless we're doing something Thursday.
Thank you. Council Waterman.
Yes, the problem, President Cooper, was that there was no docket number on the sheet that I'm looking at. For some reason, and I don't know the date of the docket that we're dealing with. So, reporting from the Personnel and Human Services Committee from the docket.
Wait a minute.
Thank you so much.
6/16/20.
Thank you. Reporting from the Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee for the docket of June 16th, 2020. I move to confirm the appointment of Judith Lusk, 17 Blackbourne Road, Attleboro, to fill an unexpired term on the Board of Library Trustees. Term to expire February 2022.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional questions or comments?
I think we have a real gem in Judy Lusk, and I want to congratulate her on her retirement as well.
Great, thank you. Any additional comments or questions from the council? Seeing none, or roll call
President
vote?
Cooper,
Yes,
may I just make a quick statement?
absolutely.
I know Judy Lusk. Both of my kids had her as a teacher at Hyman Fine. I cannot say enough good things about Judy Lusk. She is, in my opinion, the best teacher in Attleboro. I'm sorry to hear that she's retiring. I wish her well, but I am absolutely thrilled that she will be serving the library on the Board of Trustees. Phenomenal person, wonderful choice.
Oh, my please.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Mrs. Simone,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Ms. Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
And that concludes the business of the Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee. We'll meet at the next appropriate time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Jackson went. Councilor Delicio.
Thank you. Reporting for budget and appropriations. I entertain, let's see, again, from the docket of, well, this was from today, but from the docket of June, let's see, 23rd, I entertain a motion to increase the expenditure limit in revolving fund 2603 protective services to $250,000.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional questions or comments?
None. We discussed this about 40 minutes ago.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Roll call vote is required and we'll begin with Councilor Holmes, I believe.
Yeah. Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of June 23rd, I entertain a motion to approve the expenditure of such funds by the Council of Aging for the fiscal 2021 formula grant of approximately $94,812 and also approve any grant, further grant amendment.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments, Councilor Delicio?
None, President Cooper.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of June 23rd, 2020, I entertain a motion to expend the funds of the fiscal 2021 Shine Grant in the amount of approximately $94,107 during the fiscal 2021 and approve any further grant amendments.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
Thank you. A roll call vote will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. I entertain a motion to expend the Community Development Block Grant / CARES Act Fund of approximately $12,018 by the Council of on Aging for expenditure during fiscal 2021 and approve any further grant amendments.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional questions or comments?
I have none.
Thank you. A roll call vote is in order and we'll begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
All right. Thank you, President Cooper. Before we get into the budget, I have a few comments. First, I'd like to wish our good friend Virginia Stewart well. I know she's feeling under the weather, so I thank her for all her hard work this week and last week, especially getting the budget ready. Before we get into the budget discussion, I'd like to thank my committee councils, Cobus and Conti. I want to thank the administration for presenting a balanced budget, which is no small feat in a year where we faced a global pandemic. I found this budget to be lean, to say the least, and in the areas where this committee has recommended cuts, like other years, it's not a no, it's more or less not at this time. Where we still don't know what our local aid is going to look like, we'd like to work with the administration and the department heads once we have a clear understanding of what our local aid will look like. But at this time, this committee had to be, in my opinion, as prudent as we could be. COVID-19 froze our national, state, and local economy for 3 months. This has impacted our local receipts, income, and revenue. And as I mentioned, with local aid not finalized. For these reasons, this committee felt strongly to hit the pause button on some of the addition of certain positions, of celebrations, and some of the other requests. I believe this committee looked at the budget through a very critical lens, and the cuts which will be presented were thoughtful and fully vetted with the help of City Auditor Deb Gould and our new Director of Budget and Administration, Jeremy Stull. We discussed the impact each cut could potentially have. I want to thank all the councils who participated in this process and appreciate the different views and thoughts. And again, I stress that most of the recommended cuts aren't a no, but it's a not right now. My hope is that the full council will understand the precedented time in history which we find ourselves. And as I stated previously, we've seen an abridged budget season, and I strongly hope we're able to vote this budget out tonight to give Deb, Jeremy, and the mayor the time they need to put us in the best position to move the city forward. I'm hopeful for prudence and not politics. That being said, I entertain a motion to appropriate $150,000 of stabilization fund from account 8455 stabilization fund to the fiscal 2021 general government annual budget.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Counselor Delicio.
Thank you. I'd like to make the following amendment to cut the following line items from the budget as part of this motion and encourage the council to vote no due to these funds being covered by the CARES Act. Emergency Management 1129-11000 line 510500 $75,000.
Oh, sorry.
Emergency Management 1129110000, line 530550, $25,000. Emergency Management 1129110000, line 540500, $50,000. Recreation 16301000, line 512010, $31,000.
Second.
Motion's in order.
Thank you.
On the, this is an amendment to the 150,000.
Correct. So this is an interesting one because initially we were going to use the $150,000 of the stabilization fund to be able to fund the pieces that I just spoke of, which would have gone for COVID-19. However, these funds are covered by the CARES Act. And as President Cooper and I spoke prior to the meeting, instead of just voting no on the 150,000, what we would do is cut each of these line items. And actually, you know what, as I look at that, the recreation, the $31,000 should be a separate cut on its own.
That's right.
And the reason we want to make these is because we don't want to just vote no on the dollar amounts, but we also want to strike these line items from the budget.
Councilor Cobus.
Just a point of clarification, like, can we make an amendment to another motion while we're voting, while we're working on this $150,000 motion? I understand the intent to make it clear that if we vote no on this $150,000, that we also need to cut those items from the main budget when we get there. But just, I mean, these are, it feels funny to me to be on this motion about the stabilization or the $150,000, but then making an amendment to a completely separate motion. I don't, procedurally, that doesn't sound right to me.
So, Jay, if we vote the stabilization vote of 150,000, then you could individually vote the cut to be, maybe to be a little cleaner for everybody to follow. I'm getting it, but I'm picking up what you're putting down. But maybe just to be cleaner, vote the 150 and then make the cuts on each of the, make a motion on each one of the potential cuts to that.
So what I would suggest then in that case is I would suggest we vote no to taking the money from the stabilization account. Once that does whatever it's going to do, then we go through and we vote to delete those line items then.
So we can only cut, right?
Correct.
So if we approve that 150,000, in order to cut it, we would have to make an motion on each one of the individual line items.
So initially my plan, and I'm sorry if the wires got crossed, my plan was initially just to vote no to the 150,000 as opposed to every single line item. But whatever, as the parliamentarian, you think is the best course of action, you know, I have no problem following.
Well, I just don't want to,
City auditor has her hand up.
Go ahead, Deb. It's this, go ahead. You're on mute.
I don't know, President Cooper, procedurally, but can you take the $150,000 from the stabilization fund vote after you do the 150 million? Because if the right lines are cut from the $150 million budget or the $145 million budget, the $150,000 is cut, then it would be clear to cut the 150. There wouldn't be any question. We know it needs to be cut. It's the suggestion of the administration to cut the $150,000 from those lines in the 291 account, but then it will keep the $145 million budget vote separate? And then could you revisit it, or do you have to take them in the order of the docket? I'm not familiar with this.
We don't have to take it in any particular order per se, but it feels to me like we should do it one or two ways. We should either vote up the 150 from stabilization or vote down the 150 from stabilization is one option. Option two is to vote in favor of the 150,000 from stabilization, but then do individual motions on the cuts.
So if you vote the 150,000 in favor, then we would have to move the 150 from the stabilization. Like the way I would have to record that vote, the cuts are in the major budget. Do you know what I mean? So the $150,000 is a revenue source to fund the budget. The corresponding expense is the item that would be cut from the main budget, the general
from
fund.
each line item of the respective department within the budget, right? Because the $150,000.
291. Yeah, the emergency management grouping that was.
Hold on, Deb. Hold on for a second. The $150,000 was sprinkled amongst departments. Is that a true statement?
One department, multiple lines.
Emergency management. Oh, right. But then we said recreation, but shouldn't have. So, Council Conti, did you have your hand up?
I did, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Because I thought that procedurally, the mayor had presented a budget to the council. And now the chairman of the budget committee wishes to make a motion to make some cuts to what the mayor proposed to the council. So the cleanest way to do that is to only make the individual cut motions. So he would make a motion to cut the $75,000, make a motion to cut the $25,000, make a motion to cut the $55,000. And thus the mayor's budget would be considered minus those motions if they pass the council.
Except what I think Deb is saying is that the 150,000 has to move from stabilization if we vote to move it from stabilization.
But you see, if the council cuts these individual items, there's no transfer of the $150,000 from stabilization.
Yes, there is, because we voted in favor to move it.
Oh, my apologies. You're correct.
That's where we got snagged. That's where we got snagged.
I forgot that. Yes, thank you.
So if we vote not to transfer the money, if we turn the 150,000, which I think is where Jay was going earlier this afternoon when we talked, and I thought, well, we should vote it out and then do individual amendments until Deb reminded me that if we vote to move it, we're moving it, or she's moving it.
Yeah, I'd have to move it.
That's my fault, sort of. And that we should not vote the 150,000, and we will have to do individual motions on the emergency management line item to ensure that that money's not accounted for in that department. Otherwise, the budget won't balance.
Yep.
Councilor Delicio.
Okay, correct. So I think it was just, this is a unique situation. So many pieces of this budget are unique. So that's why I think it's important, and I give you much credit for suspending the rules and having Jeremy and Deb to be able to walk us through this. That being said, I'd ask to remove the second from my motion and my amendments.
So moved.
So, all right, let's try this again, shall we? I entertain a motion to appropriate $150,000 of stabilization fund from account 8455 stabilization fund to fund the fiscal 2021 general government annual budget.
Second.
Okay, motion's in order. Counselor Delicio.
So this is the $150,000 that the administration had said, had requested us not to make the transfer because of the CARES Act for COVID-19. So this will, I suggest, and I urge my fellow counselors to vote no on this. And then from there, I will make subsequent motions to strike the line items as to which this $150,000 was going to fund.
Thank you. Counselor Conti and then Counselor Cobus.
So, Mr. President, didn't 3 minutes ago you tell me that we already took this vote and voted $150,000?
No, if we had taken the vote of 150,000, Deb would have had to have moved the funds. We didn't vote it. Jay took back the second for the amendment and the motion and wanted to start over.
So I go back to my comments of 2 minutes ago that if we cut the 75,000, the 25,000, and the $50,000, and and there was no vote to transfer the 150,000 in, what is the problem that's created there?
There isn't one. That's exactly what we're going to do.
Okay.
I think that's what we're going to do. I shouldn't make the assumption that the motion is going to pass, but I'm hopeful that everybody understands the purpose of, and let me just reiterate it. What we're doing is this motion, which we are not in support of, as what I'm hearing and seeing, is because and only because we've received the COVID funds to cover this cost in the budget. So we're going to make, Jay next is going to have to make individual motions on the 3 to cover the $150,000 in order to cover the cuts required in those individual line items in emergency management. To Council Cobus.
So in the spreadsheet that was sent out earlier today, each of those motions to make the amendments to cut these from the general budget and from the emergency management section are in there, and the general agreement is this is the recommendation of the administration that we cut this $150,000 from the budget and vote no on moving this money from the stabilization fund. Now, we're voting on not taking the money out of the stabilization fund now, with the agreement that when it comes time to vote on these 3 individual items, we're also making the assumption that those amendments to cut those lines from the general budget will pass. So just know that when we're voting on this, that you're also sort of agreeing to vote in favor of these amendments. And they're all it's the recommendation of the administration. The money's already paid for from the COVID-19 grant. The one
go ahead.
Is that I don't think we can vote on those individual amendments to the general budget until the general budget is before us as a main motion. So just a small technicality, but that's so I also will not be voting in favor of this.
Yep. And so what I would say is if the amendments don't pass, then we got one or two choices. We don't have any other choice. We either reconsider or we have to come back to the drawing board on Thursday. Right? If one of the amendments didn't pass, it's not going to balance.
Mm-hmm.
So any additional questions or comments? And I agree that the amendments will be future amendments made by someone to make the $75, $25, and $50,000 cuts that are necessary to those line items when you get to general government. I agree. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, somebody have the hand? A roll call vote is in, and we'll begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes.
No.
Ms. Reynolds. Ms. Reynolds.
No.
Ms. Ms. Dolan,
No.
Cobus,
No.
Mr. Blucio,
No.
Vice President Jackson,
No.
Mr. Waterman,
No.
Conti,
No.
Simone,
No.
Blair,
No.
President Cooper,
No.
0 yeas, 11 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Fails.
I'm sorry, fails. After all that, fails.
So a procedural question before I continue, President Cooper. I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that we have to take what Council Cobus just said about waiting until the general budget is passed, because in years past, we've never passed the general budget and then come back and make the cuts. We can make
Not passed, voted is what I think he meant. I think he said passed, but what I think he meant is when you bring that to the full council to vote, it's at that time that you would make the amendments to the individual line items in emergency management.
So why don't I do that now, just to be clean?
Perfect.
From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to, and I will do the enterprise accounts as well, and then we can just move from there. From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to submit the proposed water and wastewater budgets for fiscal year 2021. I'd request a reading of waiving of the reading. However, I will read the total numbers. 6,000 wastewater 2021 requested, 10,109 $10,109,919.63. 2020 recommended $9,699,623.10.
Second.
Actually, hold on one sec. I have to read both of them together. 6,100 water 2021 requested $7,185,762.34. 2021 recommended $9,967,008.94.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional questions or comments, Councilor Blucio?
I have none at this point, other than to say that these are just the requested, the recommended, the approved will be based upon the way the rest of this meeting goes.
Okay, any additional questions or comments? Councilor Cobus, and then, hold on.
Yeah,
Just 1 second. Mr. Withers, did you have a question?
I just had a clarification. I believe when Mr. Delicio was talking about the wastewater recommended, he said 2020, not 2021. So I just wanted to get that out there.
Okay. Thank you. Councilor Cobus.
All right. I move to amend the personal services line under the water department, 6,100, from $2,834,939.06 to $2,808,650. Excuse me, $2,808,658.36, and from the total from $6,967,008.94 to $6,940,728.24 in order to accommodate a $26,280.70 reduction to account 511000 due to the removal of a new DigSafe position.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in, the amendment is in order, seconded by Councilor Jackson. Councilor Cobus, any additional questions or comments?
Yeah, I'd like to just read briefly from the description of the DigSafe website. It says, DigSafe is a not-for-profit clearinghouse that notifies participating utility companies of your plans to dig. In turn, these utilities or their contract located companies respond to mark out the location of their underground facilities. DigSafe is a free service funded entirely by its member utility companies. And when companies come out and mark for DigSafe, there's different color coding. Red is electric, yellow is gas and oil, orange is communication, etc. In the mayor's statement to us arguing in favor of this, he noted that, quote, "This is a safety issue. There was enough noise about Torrey Street in 2019. Noise about Torrey Street is one of the several reasons for the need for this position. To not fund this position undermines the safety efforts that water and wastewater need to do when they are doing trench repairs." So from my perspective, just to be clear, this is not in any way a safety issue. This position would not have helped prevent the incident on Torrey Street. The water department marks water lines. Gas lines are marked by Columbia Gas or the respective utility company. I have not been convinced that this position is needed this year, especially when we're likely raising the water and wastewater rates in such a difficult economic environment. And don't forget, we were facing increased taxes from the new high school already before any of this COVID-19 stuff started. So in my mind, this clearly isn't a safety issue. And this certainly isn't the year to make these, to hire somebody for this new position. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Council Conti, I saw your hand next.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you can tell, the Budget Committee was not unanimous in this measure. I am supporting this position because 2 city department heads are asking for it. And I understand quite well where we are financially and what may be coming down the pike, but there's some hot spots in our budget. In the $145 million budget that's city side, there's a few hot spots, and in the water wastewater department, there's a few hot spots, and this is the hot spot in addition to the capital improvements. This $26,000 that she's asking for DigSafe could easily be wiped away with one accident that the road is not marked. It doesn't take long for the water department or the wastewater department to burn up $20, $30, $40, $50,000 to make a repair. So it's very important that the water lines are marked. And the department heads are asking, because they're the ones responsible for managing their departments, they're asking for the councilors to fund this position so that the water lines can be marked properly and will be marked for construction sites by a seasoned team that does this exclusively. So I support this measure, and I would support it in the wastewater department as well as the water department because it's a joint measure between the 2 departments, and I believe the 2 department heads have it right, and that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Council Delicio, Council Blair, and then Council Reynolds.
Thank you. I'm in same camp as Todd. I don't feel that this is a necessary position at this time. I understand that both superintendents have asked for this. However, they do have people already on staff who can do this work. This is a situation where by not voting in favor of this position at this time, and again, as I stated earlier, and you'll hear me say several times throughout this process tonight, a no vote in my estimation, isn't a straight out no, that's it, move on. It's a not at this time. So we can revisit this potentially next year when we have a clear understanding of where we're at. The other thing that this does is it will lower the water rate by 3 cents per cubic feet. So I think it's a way that we're able to, 100 cubic feet rather, to be able to help the residents and the taxpayers out in a time when they need some relief.
Thank you. Councilor Blair and then Councilor Reynolds.
Just to reiterate, the job description for the foreman on the water department clearly states that he's responsible for the markings, both for sewer and water. We have somebody in that position right now, and in my opinion, they have plenty of time to do the markings. So I will be supporting cut.
Councilor Reynolds.
I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments on the amendment? Seeing none, a roll call vote is required, and we'll begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
No.
Mr. Waterman,
No.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
9 yeas, 2 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. The amendment passes. Now back to the main motion as amended.
God has.
Councilor Cobus.
I move to amend the personal services line under the wastewater 6,000 from $3,599,755.44 to $3,582,235.44, and the total from $9,699,623.10 to $9,682,103.10 in order to accommodate a $17,520 reduction to account 511000 due to the removal of a new dig safe position.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
This is
On the amendment.
just the wastewater portion of this dig safe position. We just cut it from the water department, and this is the other half of it, or I guess a little less than half, from the wastewater department.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote is required, and we'll begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
No.
Mr. Conti,
No.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
9 yeas, 2 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. Or the amendment passes, I should say. Any additional questions or comments? We're back to the main motion as amended for water and wastewater. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote is required, and we'll begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
No.
Mr. Waterman,
No.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
9 yeas, 2 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to approve the City of Attleboro's general government annual budget for fiscal year 2021. Again, I would request a waiving of the reading, and I will do the same as I did for water and wastewater. 2021 requested $302,100.42. 2021 recommended $144,193,666.41.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments, Councilor Blucio?
Yes, at this time, I would like to go back to the original motion, the original amendments I was making. Give me 1 minute to get that up there. All right. So I move to make an amendment to delete emergency management department 11291100 line 510500 in the amount of $75,000.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional questions or comments?
I don't have any at this time, but I believe Deb does.
Deb, you're muted.
Yeah, I have two mouses. I used the wrong one. I'm sorry. There's nothing in that account for 75,000. It's actually 25,000 in account 510,500 and 50,000 in account 513,500 for a total of 75,000 in the personnel services.
So personnel services has a total of 75,000. Is that right?
Right. Yes, it's just not the account number that was mentioned, so I didn't know how relevant that was to you.
Wait a
The
minute.
total personnel services is 75,000. Yeah.
I was just going off the spreadsheet we had.
Let me just double check.
What page?
Yeah, you know what it is it's truncated, Jay, on the second. I'm sorry, Councilor Delizio. Where it says line, it says 510,500, and then it's an and. You just can't see it on the left-hand side.
What's the other line?
So it's $25,000 in account 510,500 and $50,000 in account 513,500 for a total of $75,000.
Okay, we can take that as a friendly amendment to the amendment.
Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments?
I have none.
Seeing none, a roll call vote is required and we'll begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. And I would like to make another, I move to amend the purchase and services line under emergency management, 12911,000 from 25,000 to 0. Let me see.
It's obvious that he suffers from.
And that's line 530,550.
He is having. Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments, Councilor Delizio?
I have none. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote is required and we'll begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
I'm sorry, it started with me last time.
It did?
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
thank you. Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. I move to amend the supplies line under emergency management, 12911,000 from 50,000 to 0 in order to accommodate the $50,000 reduction to account 540,500 and 540,550.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional questions or comments?
I think Deb has
It's the same comment because their accounts are
540,500 and 540,550.
yeah, because they're cut off on the beginning. Is that right? Yeah. She's
Yep,
given the thumbs up.
25,000 each.
Okay. Yep.
So we'll take that as a friendly amendment to split the 50,000 to those two lines, 25,000 apiece. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote is required and we'll begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. I move to amend the personnel services line under recreation 163010000 from $632,195.81 to $601,195.81 from the total in the total from $774,715.81 to $753,715.81 in order to accommodate a 30.
Jay, hold on for 1 second, Jay. We're getting a lot of background noise. I don't know who that
Somebody's
coming
mic-
from, but if you can mute,
Not me, nobody here.
go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
Thank you. No worries. In order to accommodate a $31,000 reduction to 512,010 due to the ability to pay for additional pool services caused by COVID-19 via grant money.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
What I would say is this $31,000, again, it's covered by the COVID and the COVID-19 via the CARES Act. So this is money that we can cut out of that budget.
Great. Any additional questions or comments? Council Cobus.
Just one more thing. This is also comes as a recommendation from the administration.
Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote is required, and we'll begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
Ms. D. Simone.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Vice President Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Blucio.
Yes.
Cobus.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion under the provisions of Chapter 44, Section 53E.5 as amended to approve the expenditure limits for the following revolving funds outlined under.
Hold on, Jay. These were amendments. We didn't vote the original motion as amended.
Okay.
Right, so we made several different amendments to different line items, but we didn't vote the full budget for.
Revolving accounts.
Yes, please. So any additional questions or comments regarding the general government budget as amended?
Yes, I move to amend the personnel services line under police 1210100 from $8,349,770.74 to $8,339,770.74, and the total from $8,801,077.74 to $8,791,077.74 in order to accommodate a $1,000 reduction to account 515070 due to a reduction of military leave services.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional questions? Deb?
I think Councilor Delisi, you said 1,000 and it was 10,000.
10,000,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure the right amount.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments?
Yeah, this was, we believe this isn't needed as it is represented in the salary line.
Who seconded that?
Me.
Jackson.
Thank you. Okay. Any additional questions or comments? Thank you. Roll call vote will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Cobus.
Yes.
Mr. Delicio.
Yes.
Vice President Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. D. Simone.
Yes.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. That motion passes. Mr. Delicio, any other?
Yes, sir. I move to amend the purchase of services line under citywide 1124100 from $1,758,788.21 to $1,758,788.21 $738,788.21, and the total from $3,169,239.87 to $3,149,239.87 in order to accommodate $20,000 reduction to account 530150 due to the removal of the fireworks celebration.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional questions or comments?
I love the idea of it. I just don't know that this is the year for it. I think that 20,000 could be better spent at this point. And again, as I've said, a no isn't necessarily that's it. It's a just not at this time.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. Councilor Delicio.
Thank you, President Cooper. That is all the amendments I have at this time.
Councilor Conti, and then Cobus.
Mr. President, I wish to make an amendment. I move to amend the capital outlay line under Fire Department 1220100 from $25,000 to zero.
Second.
Just a point of order, Council. No, go ahead. That's fine. We can accept the second, Council Jackson. I just want to, hold on 1 second.
What page?
Council Conti, if you don't mind just reading the totals in the rest of the amendment. Right, and the total.
And the total, so that would move the total from $9,586,539.91 to $9,561,539.91.
And the second, so that's a friendly amendment seconded by Council Jackson. Any additional questions or comments on the amendment?
Yes, Mr. President, to make sure the councilors and the taxpayers understand, this is to inspire a delay in the kitchen renovations that would renovate a kitchen that will certainly suffice for a year or two more and get us through this difficult time. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any additional comments, Councilor Blair?
I know we all got a letter from the union president about this, and to me, it's an unsanitary, unsafe condition over there for our firemen, our first responders. I want to remind people that they're on a 24-hour shift. They don't have the luxury of being in their own kitchen, making their own food. I believe it's in the capital improvement list anyway. And if we can't supply a safe place for them to prepare their foods and have their lunch, breakfast, dinner, I think $25,000 probably should have been done years ago. But you've got to remember, they're out there right now putting their lives on the line every day. We've had a couple firemen come down and tested positive. Let's make it, my opinion is, let's make it safe and comfortable and healthy in a place where they prepare their foods. That's the end of my comments.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this is to vote the amendment to reduce the and delay the kitchen renovation for $25,000 to zero at the fire department. A yes vote means you are in support of the decrease. A no vote is you are not. Is everybody clear? Thank you. Roll call vote is in order and we'll begin with Councilor Holmes, I believe.
I think so, yeah. Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
No.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
No.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Blair,
No.
President Cooper,
No, yes, actually, I'm sorry.
8 yeas, 3 nays.
Motion passes. So hold on one second. Let me just write this down so Virginia knows what I'm telling her here.
I had Blair, Waterman, and Delicio voting no.
That's what I have. Thank you. Councilor Cobus, and then I think back to Councilor Conti.
I move to amend the debt service line under citywide 11241000 from 200,000 to 0 in the total from $3,149,239.87 to $2,949,239.87 in order to accommodate a $200,000 reduction to account 596300 due to cutting the fiscal year 21 contribution to the Special Education Stabilization Fund.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments? Councilor Cobus.
So we currently have $200,000 in the Special Education Stabilization Fund. That's enough, I believe, to potentially support an influx of 5 new special education students. I mean, varying costs, but generally that I think that was the number that was thrown out during the budget meetings. We likely won't be contributing to the city's stabilization fund this year. And the mayor has claimed to be willing to spend the city stabilization fund in order to make the budget in the case that the state does not come through or there's a reduction based on the state's contribution. So if we do have an influx in special education students, regardless of the stabilization fund, we're going to need to pay to educate those students regardless of where that funding comes from. Therefore, I think especially this year, we shouldn't tie up $200,000 worth of funds in a year where every penny matters and we may need to be incredibly flexible in order to make things work during fiscal year 21. So I support cutting this mainly to maintain options for how we spend that money, and because there's $200,000 in the stabilization fund currently that wasn't touched last year. That concludes my comments.
Thank you. Councilor Conti.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, this is the motion I was going to make. That's why I seconded it, so you won't need to call on me after this. I agree with everything that Councilor Cobus said. And by taking that out of the budget, if they do have a pressing need, they can always come and ask for it, and I'm sure we'll give it to them. But in this case, I agree that we shouldn't put it in the budget because once it goes in the budget, it can be easily be spent. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any additional, Councilor Delicio and Councilor Dolan, were you raising your hand? No.
Thank you, President Cooper. I agree with my committee members. This is a hard one for me because, you know, I was very much in favor of the stabilization account to begin with. But again, this is a situation where I think we can hold the money until the funding situation becomes a little bit more clear, a little bit more understandable of really what it's going to look like. I think that what I would like to see is that once we have that picture, once we understand what free cash is going to look like in the fall, that we revisit it. And if we're in a situation where it can go back in, I think that's the best thing we can do. Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this is on the amendment to reduce the fiscal year 2021 contribution to the Special Education Stabilization Fund from 200,000 to 0. A yes vote, it means you're in favor of the reduction. A no vote is you are not in favor. Does everybody understand what you're voting on? Hold on one second. Okay. Roll call vote is in order, and we'll begin with Councilor Blair.
Yep, Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. D. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yeah.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Mrs. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes. Councilor Cobus.
Sorry. So we have, I believe, 4 additional amendments that are available if anybody would like for me to read them in. I am not supportive of any of these 4, so I'm just going to list them out real quick. And if anybody would like for me to read them in, I'm happy to make the amendment, even though I don't support it. One of them is to cut a part-time social worker position in health services. The second one is to cut a vacant outreach case manager position in the Council on Aging. The next one is to cut a vacant parks and forestry labor position. And the fourth one is to cut the new MIS position for police and fire.
So
I am not supportive of any of those 4 motions, but if anybody, we've prepared a proposed motion if anybody wants to make it so that, you know, we can make sure everything's clean.
I just want to say something.
yes, Council Vice President Jackson.
I just want to say something. So what makes me nervous about filling these positions is the fact that if we were to do layoffs, which we just don't know what's in the future. Everybody keeps saying that. Every one of us keeps saying we don't know what's in the future. So say we fill the position for parks and forestry, just saying. So whoever that person is, they're in the laborers union, right? They're in a special laborers union. But then we get layoffs and we need to lay off somebody from a different department who is also a laborer. I kind of wish we would still have that position open so we could move that person over into that position. However, that can't happen. And I just had this conversation with Owen. It's probably been a month now, because we knew that we had so many employees from like the water department that were not working, that were just at home, still getting paid, or coming in for a couple of hours and then enjoying the rest of the day. And yet other departments had employees that were working all the time, which was totally unfair. And the departments were shorthanded, and they're in the same union. So I spoke with Owen about this, and I said, why can't we allow one department head to say to the employees, hey, you know what, today you're going to go over and help out the forestry department. You're going to go out and help out the DPW. That's what you're going to do today. You're going to go work for them. But because it's not in their job description, we couldn't do that. But there's got to be some loophole. And I would hope that the administration, together with the personnel office, figure out a way, because there's got to be some loophole somewhere that says that we can do that we can take a laborer from one department and send him over into the other department to help out, especially when we're in a state of emergency. And I'm just concerned about hiring someone new and laying off someone who's been here for a long, for a while, and that can happen. And it's just a concern I just want to share with all of you. Thanks.
Thank you. I think I saw Council Reynolds and then Dolan and then Delicio.
So,
and then Cobus.
So I agree with Vice President Jackson that I personally don't think we should be filling any vacant positions at this time. I think just like some of the other things that we're talking about, let's see what happens. And we can always bring them into play when the time is right. This to me is not the right time to be adding positions when we don't even know what's going on. So I would like these to be read, and I think we should take a vote on it and, make make ourselves known as to what we believe. I personally think this is just an awful time to continue to add people when we have people that might be furloughed or people that have additional time on their hands and they could transfer from department to department. So I go along and I would not be supporting, or I would be supporting taking these down off the budget. I agree with Counselor Jackson.
Thank you. Councilor Dolan.
Thank you. Well, first off, on the health and the Council on Aging.
But wait a minute, time out. We're getting into the picayunes of it and we don't have a motion. So either we're gonna make a motion and talk about these things or we're not. But we're not gonna individually comment on each of these items without a motion before the council.
All right, so can I comment in general?
You can, but you better be very general because I'm not gonna have 11 general comments because we don't wanna vote on a matter.
I don't
So we're either gonna make the motion to vote it or we're not.
I don't
Councilor
want.
Dolan. Councilor, are you good or did you?
I just said I don't need these read because I don't support these either.
Thank you. Councilor Delicio.
Thank you, President Cooper. I move to amend the personnel services line under Parks and Forestry 1650100 from $1,120,732.89 to $1,080,847.85. The total from $1,178,197.89 to $1,138,312.85 in order to accommodate a $39,885.04 reduction to account 511000 due to cutting a vacant Parks Forestry laborer position.
Second.
Thank you. So hold on just one second. Okay, Councilor Delicio.
So I want to give kudos and applaud Vice President Jackson because I think she's spot on. I think the loophole, simply put, and I have quite the experience dealing with unions in my day job, is you ask, hey, here's the need over in Parks and Forestry today. Do you mind switching just for the day or helping out? I think right now, and look, I'm comfortable saying no to this because I had a conversation with Derek Corsi a couple weeks ago. Let him know that I support the position. I just don't support it on June 23rd. I think we need to see some of the clearer funding. I think that there are other resources that the city has available in order to be able to help out with this. And as I said to Derek Corsi 3 weeks ago, I said, I would be really, really happy to vote in favor of this. Hell, I'll even introduce it as new business if the funding situation presents an opportunity to do so and the funding situation is a little bit clearer. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Dolan, then Cobus, then Blair.
So I'm well aware of the funding situation. Clearly, we all are. We've been talking about it forever. But this position, I mean, this isn't not really additional. That department has been down half their department for a long time. Not only that, like I said in the last meeting, I know it was a budget meeting, so not every council was there, but the Judy Robbins Park, the Kevin Dumas Park, Angel Park, Highland Country Club, they have taken on all this work besides the parks that they already currently maintain and everything that they do. They have over 100 trees that need to be taken down that are dead and rotted and in danger of falling. And that's another thing that the city would be responsible for if somebody did get injured or hurt, or they were in their car and it dropped on Pike Ave or whatever the case may be. So I I feel the pain of everybody regarding this budget, but these people have been straight out, and just one storm puts them back over a month. Just one microburst that 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, when there was that little microburst that some people got tons of damage and other people didn't even know anything happened, that sets them back. So when we talk about this being an additional position, it's really not, because they've been down, I think, half their staff for a long time. So I don't support cutting this, and I hope if you know, again, like I said in the budget meeting last night, just please consider not doing this. I feel like this department is straight out, and I do not support cutting this. And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus, and then Blair.
Thank you. I really struggle with this one. Just to give a quick update on the state's latest numbers are that they're roughly $6 billion down on receipts, which equates to about 20% decrease from what was received last year. For us, if we're lucky and only half of that trickles down to us and we see a 10% cut, that equates to roughly a $5 million cut. The budget currently before us is based on the governor's projections from January, which was prior to COVID-19. And just for reference, North Attleboro has based their budget around seeing a 10% decrease in state aid. Also for reference, when we're talking about a shortage and potential layoffs, know that we end up paying roughly 50% of unemployment for laid off workers. So for us to make up, say, $100,000 shortage in the budget, we would need to lay off two $100,000 positions. Or put another way, we can roughly equate every $1 million shortage we have in our budget to approximately 34 teachers. So we have a pending deadline for when we need to either lay off teachers or not. According to contract agreements with the teachers union, we need to give teachers 20 days notice prior to layoffs. So if we were to need to lay off teachers prior to the start of school, we would need to make that decision by roughly the end of July. And I have little faith that we'll have a budget from the state and things will be worked out prior to that. So when the mayor made his case for us to trust him and not worry about all the communities in the state that are currently laying off people, and he said there are good reasons why we should continue to fund the budget at the level I offered in our fiscal year 21 budget. He didn't specify what those good reasons are. Now, I am optimistic that the federal government will come through, or that certified free cash will look good in the fall, but I'm still incredibly nervous about gambling on that assumption. So for me personally, I really struggle with this one. But generally speaking, I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic that things will work out in the fall and that certified free cash will work out for us. But I don't know.
Thank you. Councilor Blair.
Well, Ms. Dolan, I'm with you on this one. They're working really, really understaffed down there. They're doing a great job, but they're understaffed. And eventually that causes accidents. When you're working understaffed and you're under pressure and you're working with tools, mowers, chainsaws, whatever, you can't afford to be understaffed. I don't think it's asking too much. I believe it's safety for our employees, safety for our public, and I cannot support a cut in that particular line item. Thank you.
Councilor Delicio, I think you're next.
Thank you, President Cooper. So my understanding is that the House of Representatives is voting on a budget tomorrow, and what they're voting on is a 1/12 budget. To me, that's not really a great sign of what's to come. You know, if we have these departments that are struggling, which some of them 100% are, I'm not questioning that. Again, I'm questioning the time of the appropriations and when we're adding staff. Maybe it's time to consider consolidation of certain departments, doubling up on resources. I don't know. This is unique times. I think it's going to take unique solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments?
President Cooper.
Councilor Jackson, Holmes, and then Simone.
Thank you, President Cooper. I just have one more thing to add. I do support everything the forestry department wants, because yes, they are understaffed. And every time I go through there, the superintendent is a laborer. He's out there under the trees. He's weeding. He's spreading fertilizer. He's doing everything that his guys who should be there, who are not at work, should be doing. So I totally support it, but I support the fact that if everything looks really good, sending something up to the administration and saying, you know what, let's fill that position now. We have the money. And I really am, this is killing me to say no to all these positions, but I'm just nervous. I'm just very, very, very apprehensive because the state we're in, that's it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. I agree with Councilor Dolan and Councilor Blair. I will be supporting this. I also agree with Councilor Blucio that we do need to potentially, a lot of things are circling around the personnel department and working around some creative solutions. And I think Councilor Jackson even, or Vice President Jackson even mentioned that earlier about ways that we can kind of get departments to potentially work together during these times. So I think that we're kind of tasking them to potentially look at positions and see what they can do. But honestly, this position and then the other three that were mentioned, it's almost like it's just bad luck because somebody had left a position vacant, we're just going to cut it. It doesn't seem to be thought through, to be honest with you. So I'm not comfortable kind of just saying, well, it's vacant, let's just get rid of it. So that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Simone and then Dolan.
Thank you, President Cooper. Yeah, I've got a bad case of the flip-flops here. And I sincerely and deeply hope for the best, but I cannot let hope interfere with what I think is a fiscally prudent decision. And at this point, I'm going to be supporting the removal of this position because I just have to see I want to see what's real and not what's hoped. That concludes my comments.
Thank you. Councilor Dolan and then Reynolds.
So I realize I already spoke and I may be beating a dead horse, but when you see the superintendent out there, I mean, this is beyond weeding. They need people to cut huge trees down. They need staff to get these trees. I've gotten complaints, and it's not even my ward, in certain areas where there's trees that are overhanging that are rotted.
There goes the fireworks.
So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what else to say to convince everybody, but I feel very strongly about this clearly. And I don't know, maybe some of you can reconsider. That concludes my comments.
Thank you. Councilor Reynolds.
So I'm just going to say once again that it has nothing to do with whether we feel bad or we're sad about the department or whatever. This is what we're here to say, what can we afford? What's available at this moment in time? It's not like we're cutting the position. We're saying no, at this time, the position will still be there. It's been there. We haven't funded it in some time because we don't have the money, and we definitely don't have it now. So I just have to go along with keeping with the manner that we've been moving along, trying to cut what we haven't had, not add when we haven't added before this. We're in the worst fiscal times we've been in a long time. And I just don't see how we can turn around and say, oh, we'll give one department this, but not another one. So that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any additional comments on the amendment? Seeing none, a roll call vote is required and we'll begin with Councilor Holmes.
I'm sorry. So a yes vote is, sorry, can I ask a clarification?
Absolutely.
So a yes vote is to cut.
That is correct.
Okay. Ms. Holmes,
No.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
No.
Mr. Cobus,
No.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
No.
Mr. Conti,
No.
Ms. D. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
No.
President Cooper,
No.
I think I've got I've got 4 yeas and 7 nays, right?
Did you get Mr. Conti?
So what I have is Blair, no. Conti, no. Waterman, no. Jackson, no. Cobus, no. D. Simone, no. Holmes, no. Cooper, no.
That's true. You're correct. I'm sorry. 3 yeas, 8 nays.
Jackson was yes.
I was a yes too.
Oh, wait a minute.
Jackson was a yes.
I'm gonna do this again.
I
I'm
have
sorry.
7 no.
It's 7-4, 7 in favor, 4 again.
So Jackson was for the cut.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Wait a
D.
minute.
Simone for the cut.
So again, we have, just so we're clear, we have Blair, no. Conti, no. Waterman, no. Cobus, no. D. Simone was a yes.
Yep.
Holmes, no. Cooper, no.
Dolan, no.
And Dolan, no.
Dolan. Oh, I have, that's why. This is not D. Simone. This is CD. It's LD. That's why. I had them backwards. Sorry about that.
So it's 4 yeas, 7 nays, correct?
4, 5, 6, 7. That is correct.
Okay.
So 4, 7.
Motion fails, right?
Motion fails.
Okay.
Okay. Now we are back to the motion as amended. And this passed. Any additional, anything else, any other amendments, Council Cobus? You're muted, Todd.
Sorry about that. So there's 3 additional potential cuts. And once those are done, we'll need to make a final amendment to the total. So once we're done with those, give me a minute to total that up and double check the numbers with Deb and Jeremy, and then I can make that amendment. Okay, does that make sense?
Sure. Yes. Council Cobus, you're up.
Hearing no further amendments to cut, I move to amend the general budget from $144,193,666.41 to $143,757,666 $666.41 in order to accommodate a $436,000 reduction due to the previously approved reductions.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. This is on the amendment to make the reduction as described by Councilor Cobus. Any additional questions?
I would just defer to Deb and Jeremy to just double check that the math was right.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, I was keeping score alongside and I had the same number as Councilor Cobus had.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have the same number that you said as well.
Great, thank you. Any additional questions or comments? This is on the amended final general fund budget recommended for 2021. Okay. A roll call vote is required, and I believe begins with Councilor Blair.
I believe so. Mr. Blair.
We voting on the budget finally?
No, we're voting on the amendment to the general government budget, and then we're going to vote on the budget.
Yes.
Ms. Simone.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Vice President Jackson. Vice President Jackson.
I think Kate was having, it looked like she was having some problems with her computer, so she might not be able to hear us.
Yes.
We can come, oh, there she is.
Mr. Delicio.
Yes.
Mr. Cobus.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, no nays.
Thank you. The amended motion passes. Let me write that down. And now we're back to the motion, the main motion as amended with the corrected amount to reflect the cuts. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote is required, and we'll begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Mr. Cobus.
Yes.
Mr. Delicio.
Yes.
Vice President Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Simone.
Yes.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion under the provisions of Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half as amended to approve the expenditure limits for the following revolving funds outlined under Chapter 20 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro for the fiscal year 2021. I will request a waiving of the reading, as we read this Friday night.
Great. Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Councilor Blair. I think.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
Ms. Simone.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Vice President Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Delicio.
Yes.
Mr. Cobus.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to approve the solid waste fee of $234.12. This is an increase from fiscal year 2020.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional questions or comments?
The only real comment I have is this is due to a new contract which we entered into. I want to thank Dr. Quinn, Alan, Perry, and Jessica for coming down and with the diligence in which they explained the changes to us.
Thank you. Any, Councilor Blair?
Just one comment. When they come down from the health department, I suggested that they send out a revised program with the next water bill. And I would hope that we do that, because there's going to be a lot of people confused with it. The rate I understand, but there's going to be some confusion.
Thank you. Councilor Delicio.
Thank you. Through the chair, to Councilor Blair. I reached out to the health department late last week because I had an inquiry from a resident, and Mr. Perry assured me that there will be communication going out to the residents, especially with the new program and plan.
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate that.
Absolutely, my friend.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote is required, and we'll begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
yes,
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
No.
10 yeas, 1 nay.
Motion passes.
Thank you, President Cooper. From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to approve the solid waste fee of $60.79 per unit to be credited to Fund 2604 Residential Special Waste Disposal for fiscal 2021.
Second.
Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on one second. Motion's in order. Any additional questions or comments?
I have none at this point.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote is required, and we'll begin with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
No.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
No.
9 yeas, 2 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you, President Cooper. From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to approve the water fee of $5.15 per 100 cubic feet, which is an increase from fiscal year 2020. This rate applies to consumption on and after July 1st, 2020.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments? Councilor Delicio.
Yes, thank you. I would like to amend the motion to read, I entertain a motion to approve the water fee of $5.06 per 100 cubic feet. This is an increase from fiscal year 2020. This rate applies to consumption on and after July 1st, 2020.
Second.
Thank you. The amendment is seconded by Councilor Jackson. Any additional questions or comments?
Yes, sir, and this will go for the wastewater when we get to that as well. So when we cut the dig safe position, that dropped the rate by 3 cents. We have the net metering agreement with the city, which saved the city money, which we'll get into in a moment. And that metering saved us 6 cents, so we're down a total of 9 cents to the water rate. So we'll see these savings with wastewater as well. And I'll just add that with the dig safe position being cut, that has an impact on the rate, which is what needs to be reflected with this vote. A lot of moving pieces tonight.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Councilor Holmes. This is on the amendment to decrease the rate to $5.06.
Councilor, Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Can I ask a question here for a second? Our rate right now,
No,
no, cannot ask.
no, you cannot.
So if I say no, I'm not agreeing to anything. Like am I agreeing that I should just stay where it is right now?
No.
I'm saying no.
You're voting on the amendment.
Okay.
You're voting on the amendment.
So yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
No.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
No.
9 yeas, 2 nays.
Motion passes.
Okay, from the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to appropriate 320,000.
Wait a minute.
Nope, stop.
I'm sorry.
So we just did the motion as amended, but we didn't do the,
Right.
we did the amendment, but we didn't do the motion as amended
Correct.
to $5.06. Any additional questions or comments? Does everybody understand what they're voting on? What you're voting on is the main motion, which is now amended to $5.06 for the water rate. A roll call vote will begin with, Steve, is it Counselor Blair?
Yeah.
I don't get,
Yes.
okay.
Blair. Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Conti,
No.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
No.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
No.
8
yeas, 3 nays.
Motion passes.
From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to appropriate $320,345.72 from account 6100-359000 Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings to fund fiscal year 2021 Water Enterprise budget.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional questions or comments?
Yes, I would like to amend the motion to appropriate $323,337.22 due to net metering from account 6100-359000 Waste Enterprise Fund retained earnings to fund the fiscal year 2021 Water Enterprise budget.
Second.
Thank you. So this is on the amendment, but hold on for 1 second. This is water. Okay, so hold on 1 second. Okay, motion is in order. Any additional comments, Council Delicio?
I'm all set. Thank you.
Deb, did you have a?
I just wanted to make sure this is on water, correct?
That's correct.
Clarify for water. Thank you.
Yes. Any additional questions or comments on the amendment? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
No.
Mrs. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
10 yeas, 1 nay.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to approve the water fee of $9.60 and $10.50 per 100 cubic feet for residential and industrial respectively. This rate applies to consumption on and after July 1st, 2020.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any
Yes.
additional questions or comments?
Point of order, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Jay had to read the last motion as amended.
Yes.
Oh, you're right. You
Yes.
are correct. Thank you, Council Conti. So Council Delicio, we did the amendment, but not the motion as amended.
Correct. Okay.
Any additional questions or comments on the motion as amended? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
No.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
No.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
9 yeas, 2 nays.
motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to approve the water fee of $9.60 and $10.50 per 100 cubic feet for residential and industrial respectively. This rate applies to consumption on and after July 1st.
Jay, you said
Second.
water, not wastewater. You said water.
Yeah, it's wastewater.
Okay,
Friendly.
Friendly amendment.
Right.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments?
yes, I would entertain a motion to amend to go from $9.60 and $10.50 to $9.47 and $10.37 per 100 cubic feet for residential and industrial respectively. This applies to consumption on and after July 1st, 2020.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Thank you. These changes are due in part to cutting the dig safe position as well as money coming back to the city in the form of a credit, very similar to what happened with water when we moved to appropriate the money to the rates. That's why we're able to see such significant drops. And then I'll talk more about the next motion next.
Great. Any additional questions or comments on the amendment? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Deliricio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
no,
Ms. D. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
No.
9 yeas, 2 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
And now we vote on the amendment, the amended
The motion as amended, yes.
Get it, buddy.
Okay. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
No.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Deliricio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
no,
Ms. D. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
No.
8 yeas, 3 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to appropriate $305,704.93 from account 6000-359000 wastewater enterprise fund retained earnings for the fiscal 2021 wastewater enterprise budget.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order.
I would entertain a motion to amend the dollar amount from $305,704.93 to $281,004.93 due to the net metering agreement.
Second.
Okay. The motion is in order to amend. Any additional questions or comments?
I have none.
Seeing none, roll call vote will begin with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. D. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
no,
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Deliricio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
10 yeas, 1 nay.
Thank you. Motion passes. Now back to the motion as amended.
That was the motion as amended, I believe, wasn't it?
no,
No.
No,
Okay,
that was the amendment.
sorry. Okay,
We'll begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Sorry, yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
No.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
no,
Ms. Simone,
yes,
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
9 yeas, 2 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Let me just make sure I didn't lose my spot. From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to appropriate $61,919.06 from account wastewater enterprise fund retained earnings to fund the wastewater betterment share of debt in the fiscal 2021 budget.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional questions or comments?
I have none at this point.
Thank you. Any from the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote's in order, and we'll begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
yes,
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas and 0 nays.
motion passes. Thank you.
From the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to transfer $639,656.54 from Fund 600 Wastewater Enterprise Fund to the General Government Fund to provide funding for the indirect cost for fiscal 2021.
Second.
Thank you.
He missed one.
Motion's in order. Any additional questions or comments?
I did not. I do not. Actually, I do. So I entertain a motion to transfer $637,794.12 from Fund 600 Wastewater Enterprise Fund to the General Government Fund to provide funding for the indirect cost for fiscal 2021 budget.
Second.
Second.
we just have a motion on top of a motion.
Yeah,
I think we forgot.
Yes, I
we
think
missed-
he's, hold on. Time out.
Sorry.
So two things. One is, we're hearing the chirping because you're not going in order. So you missed the 800,000 for Water Enterprise Fund, but you can go back to that one, Jay. The other thing is, were you making a motion to amend your original motion of
Correct.
$639,656,054?
Correct. I didn't skip anything. I have things in a particular order.
I understand,
Okay,
but
thank
the
you.
order in which they're reading from their paper, they're just making sure that we're not missing anything. But I'm trying to find that.
We're just little hens in the house.
834. Oh, I see it. I found it. Okay. I'm just trying to keep this straight for Virginia when she's trying to sort this out. She won't be able to read my writing, but who seconded the amendment? Kate?
Yes.
And Todd seconded the original.
Original, yeah.
motion. Okay. All right. So now we're to the motion as amended. No, we're to the amendment. Councilor Delicio, any additional comments? And then Deb is,
However, before I do, can I give the floor to Deb Gould?
yes, you can.
It's 16 cents, not 12, only because we changed the amount that was cut from wastewater. It was truncated to a whole dollar amount. So it should be $637,794.16, not 12 cents.
Okay, we'll take that as a friendly amendment.
Thank
Any
you.
additional comments on the amendment?
What I will say is, as you can see, there's a lot of moving pieces, especially with the amount of cuts that we have. The dig safe, the betterment, it's not as easy as usually our wastewater and water is shoot them up, shoot them down, move on. It's not what we have tonight. So I do need to really thank Jeremy and Deb for their help throughout the course of the day, just trying to figure out every what if situation to ensure that when Virginia gets back, that it's as easy on her as we can. This motion here is because of the dig safe portion was cut. Less money is going from Fund 6,000 Wastewater Enterprise Fund to the General Government Fund for the indirect cost.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Does everybody understand what they're voting on? A roll call vote is required, and we'll begin with Council Holmes. Oh, Council Cobus, do you have a question?
Just a small friendly amendment, or just comment that I believe you read the account number as 600 both initially and as part of the amendment, and just want to be clear that it's account 6,000.
Yes, it is Fund 6,000. We're on wastewater, right?
Correct.
Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote will start with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
no,
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
10 yeas, 1 nay.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you from the
Now
doctor.
now we're to the motion as amended.
As amended.
Any additional questions or comments? Roll call vote will begin with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
no,
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
No.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
9 yeas, 2 nays.
motion passes.
Thank you from the docket of June 2nd, 2020. I entertain a motion to transfer $834,054.28 from Fund 6100 Water Enterprise Fund to the General Government Fund to fund the indirect cost for fiscal 2021 expenses.
Second.
Any, Council Delacio, any additional comments?
Thank you, President Cooper. I entertain a motion to amend the dollar amount from $834,054.28 to $829,468.30 from Fund 6100 Water Enterprise Fund to the General Government Fund to fund the indirect cost for fiscal year 2021 expenses.
Second.
Any additional questions or this is on the amendment. Motion is in order. Any additional questions or comments?
This is simply the absence of the dig safe. So it takes that into consideration for the water account, the water enterprise fund. Rather.
Thank you. Who seconded the amendment?
Todd, Mr. Cobus,
Okay, thank you.
and the main motion also.
Yep, both of them. Yep, okay. Any additional questions or comments on the amendment? A roll call vote will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
No.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
no,
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
9 yeas, 2 nays.
thank you. Motion passes. And now to the motion as amended. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Council Holmes.
Mr. Blair, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr.
Okay.
Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
no,
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
No.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
9 yeas, 2 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Aside from the budget message, and I believe that's it. I just want to double check. But, and then President Cooper, do you want me to read the budget message?
I don't think that's necessary unless anyone else disagrees. I think we've all had a chance to review it and provide any feedback, either directly to you or through Virginia. So unless anyone else has any need, want, or desire, I'm fine with waiving the reading.
Okay. That being said, from the docket of June 2nd, 2020, I entertain a motion to approve the following budget message for fiscal 2021, fiscal year 2021 budget, municipal council message to the mayor.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments? Council Blucio.
I just want to thank again the committee for their open and honest dialogue, the councilors that attended the meetings, very open and honest dialogue. We didn't always agree. There were a lot of great discussion, a lot of great questions. I do want to again recognize the effort of the administration, of Jeremy, of Deb, for getting a balanced budget down here. And I would be remiss if I didn't recognize former budget and director administration, Terry Lacasse, whose fingerprints are all over this. So, you know, it's going to be challenging, and, you know, we might feel like, hey, we just got through the budget, but, you know, as Todd was alluding to earlier, I have a feeling this is only just beginning. So, have it in the books right now. I appreciate everyone's patience, especially tonight as we were dealing with cuts, we were dealing with moving targets and different numbers. So thank you, everyone. And that is all the business for budget and administration.
No.
No?
You didn't vote. You didn't vote the message.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's getting late.
Frank Cook say nothing good happens after 10 o'clock.
That's right. So I just have does anybody else have any additional questions or comments regarding the budget message? Council Jackson.
I just want to tell Deb and Jeremy, you guys get to sleep in late tomorrow, okay?
Thank you. So I too want to thank Deb and Jeremy again, not to beat a dead horse, but really, Jeremy, you picked up the pieces of the city of Attleboro pretty quickly, and on behalf of this council and me as the council president, thank you for that. Deb, you've been putting up with us for a long time, so thank you to you as well, and I appreciate your quick responses, and I do appreciate your phone calls and texts and emails that you send. I wholeheartedly appreciate both of your efforts. Thank you very much, and again, me as the council president and on behalf of this council and the citizens of the city, thank you for all you did this year. And Deb's been doing it a couple of years, and Jeremy, I hope you're in it to win it, and we'll see you again. But thank you all for this year's participation across the board. And I think the only thing that it's maybe gently in the budget message, I'm going to say it maybe a little not as gentle as in the budget message, but I think the time has come. Councilor Jackson mentioned it. Councilor Reynolds reinforced it. Councilor Conti said it several times. It's time to come together as a community of employees across this city and come together and do what needs to get done to get the job done. And I know that that's what will happen. I'm confident that that's what will happen, and I look forward to that happening. So anything that we can do to make that happen, we're here to provide that support. With that said, I'll call for the vote. Roll call vote. Yes, Councilor Gilisio.
Sorry, I'd be remiss if I did not recognize the effort of Councilor Simone on this budget message. She took really kind of the raw message, and she added She found some grammatical errors. She was able to flesh out a little bit better what the committee was trying to say. And again, just thank you, Todd, and thank you, Rick, for all you've done over the last 2.5, 3 weeks as we just passed the budget with less than a month. So pretty impressive, and I thank you all for everything.
Thank you. Roll call vote is required. We'll begin with Counselor Holmes, I believe.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Goodbye, 2020.
And that is all the business I have for budget and appropriations. I'd like to call for a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Cobus.
Zoning and land use doesn't have a business tonight. Call for committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Dolan.
Licenses committee is canceled tonight, and I look forward to a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Reynolds.
Reporting for City Property and Claims Committee from the docket of July 21st, 2020. I move to approve the following DPW vehicle as surplus and available for disposition. It's a 1998 Ford F800 and it's inoperable.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
A roll call vote will begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Conti, Mr. Conti, Richard, you're muted.
Sorry. Yes.
Mr. Waterman, Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of July 21st, 2020, I move to approve the 60-month lease purchase agreement with Ford Motor Credit Company, LLC for 8 2020 Toyota Sienna vans for the APS Transportation Department totaling approximately $232,425. This number represents a $24,210 reduction over the current lease.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
Thank you. Any comments from the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote's required, and we'll begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of July 21st, 2020, I move to approve of the following APS vans as surplus and available for trade-in as a condition of the new van lease. It's a fleet of 8 vans, 2015 Toyota Sienna minivans with the, and I already read the VIN numbers.
Second.
Thank you.
Again, just the friendly amendment that this vote will be effective June 29th, 2020 to fulfill the 20-day response period.
Somehow my signature is written over it. Thank you, President Cooper. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments?
I have
Seeing none, roll call vote will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
That is all the business for City Property and Claims Committee, but I would like to call a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Holmes.
Thank you. Reporting for Ordinance Election Legislative Matters Committee, I have an emergency preamble. I move that the Attleboro Municipal Council vote as provided in the City Charter, Section 2-9B, regarding the time-sensitive emergency to approve the request to waive the following fees in regards to the revised ordinance of the City of Attleboro until November 1st, 2020, or until such waivers are rescinded by the Municipal Council. Section 11-15.1, public drinking and application fee of $75. Section 16-3.2, sidewalk street occupancy, $150 for occupying a sidewalk/street for a maximum of 3 days. The rate for each additional day will be $20.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional questions or comments? Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. This is just, we're trying to help businesses out and be creative. This is potentially we may see more of this type of thing occurring, and I encourage everybody to vote for it. This is to allow restaurants to basically have outdoor seating.
Oh.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote is required, and we'll begin with Councilor Blair. Steve.
Hello? Well, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, roll call vote.
With Councilor Blair, yep.
Okay, Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
So I read the next one from the docket. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. From the docket of July 21st, 2020, I move that the Attleboro Municipal Council, as an emergency measure, approve the request to waive the following fees in regards to the revised ordinance of the City of Attleboro until November 1st, 2020, or until such waivers are rescinded by the Municipal Council. Section 11-15.1, public drinking and application fee of $75. Section 16-3.2, sidewalk street occupancy, $150 for occupying a sidewalk/street for a maximum of 3 days. The rate for each additional day will be $20.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional questions or comments? Thank you. Roll call vote will begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Blucio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
That's all the business this evening for Ordinance, Election, and Legislative Matters Committee, and call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. There is no old business. There is no new business. I just want to remind everyone that there is a special meeting scheduled for Thursday night at 7 p.m. Be looking on your emails. If there's no need for the meeting after we sort through the votes to make sure we've made all the votes required for the new fiscal year, I will send out a notice to cancel the meeting if the meeting is not required for the budget purpose. And then the next meetings are July 21st and 23rd. Any questions or comments about the upcoming meeting schedule? Councilor Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to extend another thank you to the Budget Committee. Like, you certainly did a fabulous job keeping us all informed and giving us all the information that we needed to do. And President Cooper, this evening, really well, being Virginia and yourself. And I'm Steve, so you did a good job.
Only 52 votes, but who's counting?
And I hope you all enjoy your little freedom from the city council for a little bit. I know we're not going, I mean, you might be going someplace on vacation, I don't know, but I hope you are. But if you go, just be very, very safe.
Thank you. Again, At this time, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have to do a roll call with 53 votes, but who's counting? We have a roll call vote, and we'll begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. D. Simone,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. We are adjourned at 10:37. Thank you. Good night.
You.
So
Good night.
grateful. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Thanks, Deb.
Thanks, Jay.